Important update about YouTube playlists. Hey everyone. We've received many messages asking why our YouTube playlists aren't showing up. Do we create YouTube playlists? Yes, we absolutely do. So why can't you see them? Honestly, we're not sure. We've been in contact with YouTube support for several months now, but we still haven't received a clear answer or solution. After much discussion, our team has decided to take matters into our own hands. We believe the issue might be related to the number of playlists we've created on a single channel, possibly too many. Our solution? We're launching 2 additional YouTube channels, giving us a total of 3. This way, we can organize our audiobooks better and avoid the playlist visibility issue in the future. This change only affects our YouTube audience. If you're a patron supporter, you can still access all our audiobooks by visiting the collection menu on Patreon. Thanks so much for your time and continued support. Happy listening. I will do so right away, my lord. Are there any other duties you expect of me? At the moment, no. Just make sure to protect me and my interests. That basically means protect everything that I value, broad enough that Sukuna can just erase anyone who is hostile to me or anyone related to me. He gave me another bow. It will be done, my lord. I nodded and watched him head off in the direction of the palace. Well, that was productive. What race did he become, Odin? His aura feels familiar to that of a demon's. Answer. The individual Sukuna has become a subspecies of demon, a cursed demon. A cursed demon is equal to a demon duke in the evolution tree. Huh, so kind of like Beretta then? Correct. Quite interesting. I reached into my stomach and took out that weapon that was meant for Sukuna to wield. It's a rather small weapon, it kind of resembles a single-bladed Vajra. It seems to discharge electricity as well. Maybe I can have this upgraded a bit by Kurobe and then give it to Sukuna. Now I have 3 things to ask him. 1 to upgrade Siko's weapon, 2 to forge a katana for Raiden, and 3 to upgrade this weapon for Sukuna. Notice. The sub-skill Stomach of Ultimate Skill, Beelzebub, Lord of Gluttony, has been upgraded into Infinity Space. Huh? Did you manage to incorporate that imaginary concept from Infinity Prison into Stomach? Correct. Using the excess energy from the skills the Master did not wish to keep, Odin was able to upgrade Stomach into Infinity Space. Well, damn. Infinity Space is a chaos world. It is the ultra-evolved version of Stomach and isolation with infinite size. It can be used as a prison to lock people up, or for general storage purposes along with a multitude of other uses. A chaos world. I know about demi-material and material worlds, but what's a chaos world? Answer. A chaos world is a world with generally unknown characteristics. The only other chaos world the Master has been in is the Cardinal world itself. Huh, well, the more you know. I am able to recreate any sort of scene inside Infinity Space. It's basically a world on its own, one where I am the complete ruler of it. I could theoretically recreate an entire world inside of my Infinity Space, though a world with no true living things. Man, this trip to the Jujutsu Kaisen world is really paying off. Ah, I should probably put my Demon Lord ring back on. I stored it in Stomach before I left just in case any of the other Demon Lords are able to learn that I was in another world through it. I took the ring out and put it back on. There, crisis averted. I played with my new skills for a little bit before deciding to check if everyone was still in the conference room. It seems they've all gone their separate ways from the conference room. Megaman is in the common training ground, the one where any member of the military can use. Lalatina seems to be with her, probably to bother her. Those 3 primordials love to annoy each other. Arcuaid is still in the conference room, though it looks like she is in a meeting with some other people in important positions. She put some of the demons from her lineage in charge of some things since she could trust them to run everything to her standards. You can't run a country on your own after all. Siko is beating up those 3 giant brothers. Raiden is teaching some of the other maids. I haven't had a chance to officially meet the maids that Raiden is training. They are all dark elves, and in total there are 28 of them, with more on the way according to Raiden. 28 is just the amount that she has trained to a level where they can actually work in the palace at a level Raiden deems sufficient. Sukuna is with Raiden right now, in fact. Ingvild is hanging out with the Dragon Corps and singing for them. Due to her Dragon Tamer abilities, she can naturally relax them, so she enjoys singing for them. Glenda is having fun on her day off, which means she is going around eating everything in sight. Maybe I should check in on that meeting Arcuaid is having. I do want to know how my country is being run after all, even if I myself am not running it. A classic Rimuru move, throwing all the work at my subordinates. I teleported just outside the conference room and knocked on the door. It would be impolite to just teleport into the meeting after all. I could hear Arcuaid saying something from the other side, something about being respectful or else she would purge them. The door opened to reveal my beautiful white-haired demoness. Ah, welcome, my lord. Come in, we were just discussing what methods to use to increase application rates for the military. Ah, that sounds bothersome. but I'll at the very least try and make their jobs easier. I nodded and took a seat at the table. There were 4 other demons in the room other than Arcuaid. 3 archdemons and 1 demon duke. Moss kneeled down in front of me. "Welcome, my lord." "Ah, no need for the kneeling right now, you guys are busy with some work, so let's focus on that." Moss nodded as he rose from his position and took a seat. I turned towards the other archdemons who all bowed in front of me, though from the glare Arcuaid was sending them she was not happy with that. Maybe she wanted them to kneel anyway. The one in the middle, Mazda, I think his name is, said, "It is an honor to be in your presence once again, my lord." The one on the right nodded. "Indeed. I did not expect to be in your presence after you granted us our names, your majesty." "Haha, no need for all the formalities, you 3, I'm just here to see if I can help you guys out with your problem." "Ah, your generosity knows no bounds, my lord." I turned towards the voice and was not surprised to see it was Arcuaid who said that. Alright, enough with that. So you guys are having issues with recruiting more people to the military, right?" Arcuaid nodded. "Indeed, while the majority of Magians are weak, numbers can be useful in some cases. At the very least their lives can be used for your sake, my lord. If it weren't for your orders telling me not to use force, I'm sure some of them will understand their duties." "Ah, well, I don't really feel comfortable forcing people to join my military and possibly dying if they aren't willing to." I shook my head. "Everyone has a role to play, Arcuaid. If someone doesn't help bolster our combat forces, that doesn't mean they are useless. We have craftsmen that are building homes for my people, blacksmiths that are creating weapons, farmers that are growing food, and much more." Arcuaid nodded. "Indeed, I understood that much after I looked into what the people who chose not to join the military were doing. The majority of them are providing for your nation in their own way, so I let them be. The ones who weren't, however, I think it's best that I don't know. Ignorance is bliss after all." "What benefits are you offering the soldiers?" Arcuaid looked at Moss. It seems he knows the details. Moss took the lead and said, "We are currently providing them a salary, free food and housing, along with training to get them up to par. Those are quite good benefits, but how about this?" "Those are good, but how about we add some sort of reward system? The higher in rank a soldier gets, the more magic they gain access to, and of course their pay increases with it. We can also start teaching them some trades on the side and guarantee them jobs after they leave the military using the trades we have taught them. This way they can secure a future income for themselves along with gaining strength. Learning magic on its own will be quite tempting, after all power matters most in this world. If you can't gain skills, then magic is the next best thing. Maybe we can do something similar to those Xianxia novels where they have a place where they store a bunch of different abilities that a disciple can choose from based on their merits. Of course in this case it will be magic instead of cultivation techniques or abilities. Maybe we can include weapons as something that can be earned as well? We can rank the magic based on usefulness and destructive power. The more points someone has, the higher level magic they can learn, or weapons they can get." I explained my idea to Arcuaid and the other demons. They all looked thoughtful before Arcuaid broke the silence. "That may work, but it is hard to predict what goes through these people's heads. If I were them, I would join the military immediately in the hopes of gaining your recognition." I think that's a demon thing, since Moss and the other 3 demons are nodding along. "Sure, other Magin may want the protection of someone strong like me, but to the masses demon lords are beings that cannot be defied. They are all powerful overlords, so maybe they just don't want to get involved with one in the hopes that their lives remain as they are. After all, directly serving some demon lords is like making a deal with the devil. Well, let me know how that goes then. If it doesn't work, I'll try and come up with something else." "I will, my lord." "I do need to upgrade Megamon's and Lalitina's bodies with stardust, but I wonder if it is possible to upgrade Arcuaid's Deathman body with it as well." "Do you know if it is possible, Odin?" Answer: It is theoretically possible to improve the demon Arcuaid's body by exposing her to stardust in extremely minuscule amounts so that her body can over time strengthen itself after the constant exposure. So sort of like working out, in order to build muscle you need to tear it, but it will heal to a stronger state than it was before. Correct. That will only improve her physical body's strength, but it's still something. It should put her on a level equal to Megaman and Lalitina after I've upgraded their bodies. Also let me know whenever you're alone, I have something I want to do to you. All of a sudden Arcuaid gained a blush. If you wish to make use of my body for such purposes, I would be honored, my lord. In fact, I have been dreaming of such a day where you would allow me to serve you in the best way possible. Huh? I just wanted to upgrade her body with stardust though. Well, is this a task failed successfully situation? My genius truly astounds me. Everything is going according to plan. Moss and the other demons were looking at Arcuaid as if this was the first time they met her. Something that Arcuaid noticed as she glared towards the 4, cowing them into submission. I just nodded and teleported out. I wasn't really sure what else to say in that situation. That was a productive use of my time. Rimuru can't say I don't ever do anything now. Maybe now I should finish up with all of the presents I plan to give. I need to enchant the minigun and enchant them so they aren't as easy to destroy as they would normally be, and then I should be all ready. Arcuade's pale cheeks blushed as she recalled what her lord asked of her earlier. She was tempted to taunt the other two with it but decided not to. After all, they may attempt to inconvenience her, though she doubted Lalatina would do much. She worshipped and adored their master as if he was her one true god. She would probably only sing his praises for managing to seduce another one of her kin. Not that she could blame her. I truly enjoy my current life, as opposed to constantly playing the same game of corrupting nation after nation, or fighting for supremacy with you guys. Serving our lord is far better. Yes. Serving my master was my calling in life. Lalatina voiced her support. It is far more enjoyable than torturing those naive demons. She rolled her eyes. She truly is incredibly sadistic to those that aren't her master. Indeed. Megaman agreed with them both. I still remember that day clearly, the day when you first introduced me to Lord Felix Arcuade. My aura didn't seem to affect him at all. It made me feel a little excited, serving a lord like that. And then there was his magic. It is truly sublime. The moment he gave me my name, I knew I would serve him loyally for eternity. She affirmed, giving off a bright smile. Haha, to think you used to be such a rebel before Megaman, the old you would never obey someone else. Lalatina voiced out. Arcuade found herself agreeing. Indeed, I expected you to fight me the moment I brought my proposal up. In such a fight she wasn't sure who would win. She may have been a demon duke at the time, but Megaman was a primordial herself. Raw power just isn't always enough to beat someone like that. Oftentimes fights between demons were all about knowledge and techniques. In response, Megaman voiced her own question. Before we met our master, did any of you think there would be a demon stronger than us 7? She shook her head. No. Such a thought was completely alien to her before she met her lord. It just wasn't something that could be done normally. Only the truly extraordinary could be capable of such a feat, and even then she would still be doubtful. Nope. Even Lalatina couldn't believe such a thing before. Megaman gave a self-satisfied smirk. Exactly. That's why I became interested in your precious master Arcuade. You hadn't been serving him for long at that point, but he charmed you, one of my kin, to such an extent that you were willing to use your favor for him. A favor where you could ask me practically anything besides serving you. Haha, yup. Our master is special, isn't he? You know, before I met him I thought that if he didn't impress me enough I would to kill him. Said Lalatina. She didn't blame her. No one could know the majesty of her lord unless they met him in person. And Lalatina soon learned the error of her ways. Unfortunately, the other trash she brought along probably won't be of much use to her lord. At least they were good enough to be fodder. You know, I can slowly feel my body evolving, almost as if the ore that makes up our skeleton our master crafted us with is evolving into a higher state. It won't be long before it matches your Deathman body, and even surpasses it, Arcuade. Lalatina said with a smirk. Mine seems to be evolving as well. Megaman agreed. What an interesting phenomena. Maybe their skeletons were turning into that legendary metal. Arcuade remembered hearing tales of it, the High Hurricane, a metal that is said to be at the top of the legend grade at bare minimum. In most cases it reaches the god grade. How interesting. She will need to train if she doesn't want to be surpassed by those two. Such a thing had never happened before, but circumstances are different now. She refused to let those two gain more attention from their lord than her. She was far too prideful to allow such a thing to occur, and besides she wanted their master's attention as well. Hey, we're going to surpass you soon, Arcuade. Megaman taunted. She could feel the tick mark on her forehead. Oh really? Did you want to test that out then, Joan? Hey, I bet it'll be an easy victory for me, but fine blank. She controlled her anger. She would soon get a chance to relieve it. Are you two forgetting about me? Did you want to receive a thrashing as well, Violet? She taunted. Maybe she would get the chance to finally let her anger out at Lalatina stealing the march on their master. Haha, you wish. Come on, let's go settle this in the training dimension our master made. I don't wish to displease him by causing damage to what he values. She nodded. Lalatina truly has changed to value their master's word so highly, though she couldn't say she was different. Velgrind contemplated on everything she learned from this meeting with her sister. The two of them occasionally meet up every few centuries. The relationship between them has become slightly frostier ever since she decided to join Ryudra's side, and Velzard Guy's side. Though she claimed not to be interested in the game between Ryudra and Guy, that still did not change the fact that she was a potential enemy. That was something to worry about, especially since she herself has never managed to defeat her sister in a sealed state, let alone her full-powered state. But she trusted her beloved Ryudra to plan for that. The important thing was the information her sister provided her. She wasn't sure what this demon did to annoy her sister, but she wasn't complaining. After all, this information will help further Ryudra's goals. To think there would be another demon that has the potential to approach the cusps of Guy's own power. She did not think he was there yet, as such a level of strength was not easily obtained, but the fact that Guy said that he was not sure who would win in a fight between them spoke volumes of his opinion on this new demon. Though that in part was likely due to the unknown nature of his skill. This was a demon that was capable of fighting at the level of the true dragons if what her sister said is accurate. And one that would most definitely oppose the Eastern Empire due to his friendship with the new federation run by that slime. Still, she should be capable of defeating him should the worst happen. After all, even her sister Velzard did not quite think he was capable enough to match Guy yet, maybe on Veldor's level, which was only boosted by his extremely powerful ultimate skill that could rival her Ryudra's Michael. Now that was a surprise to learn. She didn't think there would be another wielder of such a skill. Even Ryudra had trouble wielding his own Michael. Still, this Felix White would not delay their invasion. He would simply be planned around and defeated, likely by her, seeing as no one in the Empire is capable of fighting at such a high level except her and Ryudra. The only ones who come close are Kondo and Damrata, and they each have their own roles to fulfill. The invasion will happen as planned. Within 2 years Jura will be Ryudra's. Notice, the unique skill, Thunder, had been successfully modified. Nice. There, it's done. Raiden looked shocked. Indeed, I can feel the changes that have been made. To think you are even capable of modifying skills, as expected of you, Master. That wasn't really me but rather Odin, but sure, I'll take the praise. I had Odin modify Raiden's skill to allow her to far more easily replicate phenomena related to electricity. She could do so before, it just required more effort and magicules to do so. Along with that I added the extra skill, Lightning Breath, as a sub-skill. Raiden could already do such a thing, but as a skill Lightning Breath was far more powerful. It might not increase Raiden's strength by a bunch, but it could prove useful in a pinch. Master, if you are not busy, would you like to meet the new maids I have trained for you? So far 28 have already begun serving you. I've seen some of them around, each going about their duties, so I probably should at least talk to them. Sure. Maybe I can name them. Who doesn't want to have a bunch of battle maids after all? It didn't take us long to find one of the dark elf maids in the hallway. The elf noticed us almost immediately and bowed. Ah. Greetings, Lord Felix, Lady Raiden. Raiden gave her a nod. It seems you are hard at work. Good. Man, Raiden is a real slave driver, isn't she? I have come to formally introduce you to our great master demon, Lord Felix Sama. Ah. She bowed again. Thank you for coming to see me, Master. It is an honor to serve as one of your maids. Man, what did Raiden do to these people? They seem to be professional maids. Haha, don't worry about it. It's my job as your boss to meet you and make sure all your needs are fulfilled. I'll ask Raiden if she's fine with me giving her a name. I know she was saving it as a reward for these maids. Raiden, is it fine if I name her, or do you still want me to save that for later reward? No, it is fine, Master. This will be her reward for completing my training successfully. Now she is ready and willing to serve you completely. Then do you want me to name all of the maids that you've trained? They can all be your subordinates. You can make a combat maid unit of sorts. I was already planning to train them to deal with threats that you should not need to deal with on your own, Master. So naming them would help in such an endeavor. Alright, I'll name them all then. I cut off the thought communication. Do you have a name? The maid looked confused before a look of realization appeared on her face. She shook her head. No, I do not have a name, Felix Sama. I see. She looked eager. It seems she worked out that I was going to name her. Dark elves are similar to Magians, as they were corrupted by the miasma of the Chaos Dragon, so it is possible to name them. What are some fictional elves that I can name her after? Aha, she may not be a dark elf, but an elf is an elf. I name you Filnervalen. A good choice if I do say so myself. No Game No Life was an amazing series as well. I would love to visit that world, but I don't want to get deleted by Tet. It was never really specified how strong he was, but he was definitely strong, maybe stronger than I am. Maybe I can challenge him to a game? A game that if I win I can freely mess around in his world. Though I'm not delusional enough to believe I can beat him in a game, it would probably need to be entirely based on luck, that or I could do a Yu-Gi-Oh match against him or something. Well, I'll think about it if that time ever comes. I focused back on Feel. It didn't take her long to finish the process of naming her. The moment she was able, she kneeled down in front of me and said, "Thank you, my master. I swear to serve you to the best of my ability for the rest of my life." Damn. These guys really take names super seriously. I guess that's just the culture in this world though. I nodded. Good, now rise. You will be under Raiden's direct command, so listen to her. Feel eagerly nodded. Yes, master. Feel herself was quite powerful now, since I technically gave her two names, a first name and a last name. She got quite the power boost. Let alone the fact that she got her name from someone as strong as me. As she is now, she could stomp Clayman with a wave of her hand, though she was far from the level of my direct subordinates. Those guys have had time to grow under me, they have trained and mastered their abilities, let alone the fact that they received gifts from my harvest festival which boosted their strength considerably. Still, that's another disaster class being under my command. Hopefully the other maids can reach a similar level. I turned to look at Raiden. You ready to meet the rest? She nodded. Yes, master. I will call them all together so that we do not have to visit them individually, it will be quicker that way. Alright, do whatever you think is best. Raiden turned towards Phil. You can come with us. Yes. We headed towards where all of the maids were gathering. We had time, so I decided to get to know my newest maid a little bit better. So Phil. Yes, master. She looked at me questioningly. Why did you decide to serve me? Ah, that's simple. Because it is all I've ever wanted to be. Ever since I was raised as a child, I used to see Clayman's personal maid going about her duties. She just looked so well put together, and I thought that I wanted to be like her. So when I noticed an opportunity, I took it. Eva? I heard about her from some of Clayman's former subordinates, but apparently she disappeared shortly after Clayman and his army left to attack Carrion's territory. Interesting. I see. Well, I'm glad you decided to take that opportunity then. I continued to inquire about her life until we got to where the other maids were gathered up. The maids were all gathered up in a straight line, they were well disciplined. Raiden took the lead. You have all been chosen to be our master's maids, that is a role you should take pride in. Now since you have all passed my training, our master has seen fit to reward all of you with a name. All of their eyes widened in shock. There wasn't any whispering or anything though, it seems Raiden trained them too well for even their shock to break their maidly composure. Indeed, you should all be honored. They all bowed towards me in sync. Seriously, what the fuck did Raiden do to these elves? I decided to speak up. Alright, enough with the formalities. Raiden nodded. Yes, master. I decided to just follow the line. I went to the head of the line and named the first elf. You will be Shri Greenwood. I could feel Shri's strength rise up to Phil's own level. Another disaster class. It didn't take me long to name them all, though I only gave Phil and Shri last names as Raiden told me through thought communication that those two would be her second in command. If they are going to be her second, then they need to be stronger than the rest. Now the other maids might not have a second name, but they are still strong enough that they could be Clayman if they group up. Clayman really is just the easiest method to measure strength, huh? I turned towards Raiden. You said you are working on training at least 100 more, right? Indeed, master. Alright, good luck with that then. Maybe you can mention a name is waiting for them at the end of their training. Nothing motivates Majins more than getting stronger. Raiden looked considerate for a moment before nodding. I'll leave you to it then. As I was walking away, I could hear Raiden giving all the maids orders. A position of power suits her. I've already enchanted all the gifts I planned to give. I didn't give Raiden hers since she was in front of her subordinates. I'm sure she has an image that she wants to maintain. I'll just give them out as I meet everyone alone. Glenda's Desert Eagle is quite something at this point. Originally the frame was made out of aluminum, but I changed that to Magisteel. Along with that, the slide is made out of Magisteel as well. I basically recreated the entire gun so that it is made out of Magisteel, the barrel, the hardware, the sights, everything. The gun itself shoots bullets made out of magicules. It's capable of slaying a calamity class being with ease as long as it is used right, and potentially even a disaster class being. I'm sure Glenda will be happy with it. I looked out the window. It was only midday, so I was able to see my citizens going about their days past the walls surrounding my palace. All of a sudden I could sense 3 massive auras colliding against each other in the training dimension I recently created. I immediately created a barrier around the auras so that it wouldn't bother anyone. It seems those 3 are at it again. Their auras are so massive that they can be felt outside the dimension. Broken as primordial demons. I snapped my fingers and created a few more layers on the outside of the dimension so that what happens on the inside couldn't be felt on the outside. I'm sure that the aura that was momentarily felt by everyone made most of the country shit themselves. It might have even knocked a few unconscious, even though I made sure to cover the auras up almost immediately. Everyone in the palace was fine, seeing as no one here is weak enough to fall unconscious from feeling the extremely suppressed aura of those 3. Full power is a different story though. Still, I would have thought the defenses I integrated into the dimension would be enough, but it appears I was wrong. Goes to show, never underestimate a primordial. I looked down the hall and was surprised to see Sukuna following Sako around. That's a weird combination. Both of them spotted me and appeared in front of me. Ah. Felix Sama. I was showing the second secretary around and making sure he knew the pecking order. The pecking order? I looked questioningly at Sukuna, who seemed to understand what I was asking. When I was talking to your maid, Raiden, she mentioned that I may have shared duties with Suko, so I introduced myself to her. Ever since then she has been helping me adjust," he said with a smile that didn't really look like a smile. Suko nodded as if nothing was wrong. "Indeed, it is good you came to me, Second Secretary Kun." Not even using his name? And since when was he my secretary? I wanted him to be my butler, though I guess those are basically the same thing. I see. Well, I'm glad you are getting along. Sukuna nodded. Indeed, Suko has shown me everything I need to do as your butler. In fact, I am easily capable of taking care of your duties as well, Suko, so you are no longer needed. Huh. I am Felix Sama's first secretary, you are the second. As if you could replace me, Humphrey. Ah, Suko has matured. Before she would have immediately asked for a fight. But if you still have that delusional thought in your head, we can fight it out and I can beat that thought out of your head. Ah, I spoke too soon. Alright, enough of that, there will be no fighting for supremacy here. Ah. My apologies, Felix Sama. Sukuna bowed. Forgive me for my sins. Sins? Don't worry about it, a healthy rivalry might even help you too. Suko looked as if she ate a lemon. Rival? As if this weakling can be my rival. Ah, she probably doesn't know how strong he is. Don't judge Sukuna by his magic power alone, he has some unique abilities that I think even you may have trouble with. There is a reason I appointed him as my left hand while you are my right hand. Ah. You honor me, Felix Sama. Exclaimed Sukuna. Is it just me, or did you download the Diablo template onto Sukuna Odin? Answer. The master is imagining things. Sure, I'm buddy. Humphrey, we'll have to see about that. At least Suko seems more accepting of Sukuna now. I might as well give Suko her gift now. Sukuna, could you leave us alone for a little bit? Of course, my lord. Once he was gone, I teleported us to her room. The moment we got there, Suko immediately started stripping. I ogled her for a few seconds. She was wearing a set of black lingerie. But I called her for something else. Maybe we can have fun after. I used my supreme control over my own body to lower my erection, though from the sneaky smile Suko sent me I think she noticed. Suko, just because I asked to meet you alone does not mean I want to have sex. Suko looked heartbroken. Ah. Have you grown tired of me, Felix Sama? Ugh, no Suko, I have not. Besides, you mean far too much to me by this point for that. You should know by now that you aren't leaving my side even if you want to. A scarlet blush appeared on her face. Felix Sama. I shook my head. I took out the box containing the necklace that I got for her. Anyways, I got you a present from another world. It's enchanted so it won't break easily. Along with that, I enchanted it to take one fatal attack for you. It will automatically activate when it senses a fatal attack incoming and block it, but it's only a one-time use, so don't rely on it. Suko looked ready to burst into tears. Thank you, Felix Sama. Haha, it's no problem. You deserve this much at this point. Somehow her blush deepened even more. She turned around and shifted her hair to the side, baring her neck to me. Understanding what she was asking for, I took the necklace out of the box and put it on her. She turned around with a beautiful smile on her face. How do I look? Beautiful. And seeing as she was still in her lingerie, my compliment had a double meaning. Hee, why don't I take care of you now, Felix Sama? She said with a seductive tone. I raised my brow and sat down on Suko's bed. Then get to work. Suko immediately kneeled in front of me and lowered my pants. This time I didn't try to prevent my erection from forming. She immediately leaned against my still-covered cock, inhaling the scent it was giving off. Ah, Felix Sama. She slowly lowered my underwear, revealing my manhood to the open air. It didn't take long for Suko to get to work. She started by wrapping her lips around the tip and then swirling her tongue around it. She was swirling her tongue around the tip wildly, desperately. Eventually she pulled back slightly and began to slowly lick me down to the base, leaving light kisses as she did so. She was damn near worshipping it. Once I was sufficiently lubed, she opened her mouth wide and began to slowly push my cock deeper and deeper down her throat. She gave the root of my shaft a thorough cleaning with her tongue, making sure to leave no part of me untouched. Suko was eager like that. I could see Suko's ass swaying left and right, tempting me, so I swapped our positions into a 69 using my mastery over space. Suko was surprised for a moment before she got back to work. I always have preferred breasts over thighs or ass. I still like them as any heterosexual man should, but tits always won out for me. But man, did Suko have a nice ass. I raised my hand and squeezed her ample rear, causing Suko to moan into my cock. I continued to grope her for a few minutes before my fingers began to slide underneath her underwear and directly touch her sopping core. I continued to poke and prod at Suko's tight lower lips, but never entering. Suko slowly pulled up and looked towards me with watering eyes. Please, Felix Sama. Ah, Well, I can't say no to that face. I pushed 2 fingers as far as I could into her tightening folds, causing Siko to moan out. More Felix Shama. Siko mewed out. She quickly began licking my cock all over as I fingered her to completion, Siko's back arching in response. Her ass was shaking, giving me quite the alluring view. I could feel my orgasm coming and made no attempts to hold it back. After all, this would only be my first orgasm of the day. I groaned out as I felt my game release itself down Siko's throat, her mouth acting as a lid, or else I don't doubt that my cum would go spraying out. Siko's eyes widened considerably, but she made sure to drink it all down, something she was not capable of when we first started sleeping together. Hey, I hope you don't think we're done now, Siko. I whispered into her ear. I felt a full-on shudder travel through Siko's body. Please help yourself to my body, Felix Sama. Don't mind if I do. I sat up and spun Siko around so she was facing me and quickly impaled myself into her, causing a full-on ahijo to appear on her face. I'm going to have one hell of a time with Siko, then maybe I'll visit Rimuru after. Chapter 67, The Dungeon. I cleaned both Siko and I up with magic before tucking Siko into bed. She was quite worn out after our session after all. I snapped my fingers, causing some clothes to appear on me, specifically a black shirt with a tan overcoat on it, and some black pants. I might as well make use of the clothes I bought after all. I asked for Siko's weapon so I can get it upgraded in Tempest as well, so I can get that done. I was originally planning to do so during the festival, but if I can help make Siko stronger sooner rather than later, then why wouldn't I? Now I'm ready to visit Tempest. It was only a little bit after midday. I only spent about 2 hours fucking Siko, so I have plenty of time. Maybe I should pick up Milim as well. I haven't seen her in a little while, at least a little while for me after all. I snapped my fingers and appeared in Milim's office. Of course, snapping my fingers wasn't necessary to teleport or anything, I just thought it was cool. A perfectly reasonable explanation if you ask me. I felt someone latch onto me. Felix. Save me, quickly, let's get out of here before the evil demon finds out. Obviously the only person who would do something like this is Milim, so I listened to her and snapped my fingers once again, causing the scenery around me to change as I found myself in Tempest, more specifically in the residence I have in Tempest. Milim finally let go of me. Thanks for that, bestie. Frey was making me do so much work. The image of Milim doing work was quite funny, after all it's Milim. I turned to look at her. It's nice to see you, Milim. She looked at me questioningly. We just saw each other though. Well, it's nice to see you too, Felix. That's right, I never told Milim about my ability to travel worlds. I trust her more than enough for that, so I said, I should probably tell you about an ability of mine. Oh, is it a cool ability? Maybe one that creates infinite honey. I signed. No, Milim, I don't have the ability to create infinite honey. Oh, then what is it? Basically, I have the ability to travel to other worlds, and when I do so the time in that world speeds up so that when I return back here it's like I never left. Milim might act clueless at times, but she's smart, so she was quickly able to figure out what I was getting at. Oh. How long have you been gone then? Not that long, a couple weeks. That's not long, but it's okay. I understand that you missed your bestie, hee. Whatever you say, you brat. She pouted at me. I'm not a brat. I'm older than you. I took out her gift from my infinity space and handed it to her. Yes, anyways, I got you a gift. Don't try it now, try it when you get back to your territory. She ran up to me and gave me a hug. Is that chocolate I smell? Of course she can smell it, stupid overpowered dragonoid senses. It is, but don't eat it now. I warned. She pouted, but she listened and put it in her spatial storage. Now let's go see what they are up to, but first. I waved my hand and cleaned off all the dust that was gathering with wind magic, and then we headed towards where I sensed Rimuru. It seems he was working on the dungeon that he was making. Veldora and Ramaris were with him. Still, that's incredibly large. I wonder how he plans to make use of all that space. And Ramaris was able to create something like that, huh? I think it's safe to say that world system skills are broken. Oh shoot, I sorta forgot to get something for Ramaris, huh? Well, I can just give her one of the sweet boxes I have sitting in my infinity space. Lord Felix. Lady Milim. We both turned to where we heard the voice come from and were met with a panicked Gobta running in our direction. Please save me. Master is gonna kill me. So Hikaru is disciplining him or something, huh? I led Gobta into an alleyway with Milim following behind curiosity and turned to look at him. What did you do this time? Master caught me slacking off on guard duty. I rolled my eyes. So what you're telling me is that you slacked off on your duty and are running away from your deserved punishment? Gobta became nervous all of a sudden as he began looking for an opening to escape. Unfortunately, the only way out of this alleyway was through me. Yes. I sighed and called out, "You can have him, Hikaru." All of a sudden Gobta's face paled as Hikaru walked past me and grabbed Gobta. Hikaru was just waiting to see what Gobta was planning to do. I'm surprised Gobta wasn't able to sense Hikaru hiding at the entrance to this alleyway. He really has been slacking off on his training, huh? Hikaru gave me a bow as he said, "Thank you for acquiring my unruly disciple Lord Felix, Lady Milim." "No worries, Hikaru, make sure to train him extra hard, it seems he's been slacking off," I said with an evil grin, a grin that Hikaru matched. "Haha, maybe he won't be so weak after some training." Milim just added more oil into the flames. Gobta looked at us with betrayal in his eyes. "Lord Felix." I waved him off, "Good luck." We both returned the greetings that we received from the people of Tempest. One goblin girl even gave us some sandwiches. Man, these guys are too nice. Oh. This sandwich is quite good, it has some ham in it along with some sauces. Just because monsters exist doesn't mean cows and pigs aren't around either. Ah. This is good, Felix. I nodded at Milim's exclamation. I finished up my sandwich as we were walking to where I sensed Rimuru. No reason to fly or anything after all, I'd like to enjoy the scenery. It didn't take me long to spot Rimuru, Veldora, and Ramaris standing in front of the dungeon. "Ah. Felix, you're already back, huh? Well, of course you are. And you brought Milim. I understand you, Rimuru, time shit is confusing." I gave him a wave. "Sup, Rimuru?" "Whoa. This is cool," commented Milim. "Huh? Did you go somewhere, Felix?" asked the annoying fly that is Ramaris. "I just visited my old home. It's probably best not to tell Ramaris I can travel worlds, she can't keep a secret for anything." Suspicious. Ah. Could she have caught on? To think even Ramaris can see through me. "Hello, my friends." Veldora interrupted at the perfect time. "Hey, Veldora. I don't really mind Veldora learning about my abilities, I trust him enough to keep them secret, so I'll tell him when I give him his present. Besides, I'll have to tell him eventually if I want to go to another world to have fun with him and Rimuru." "Gaha, Milim. Did you want to fight again? I have some new moves to test out." Rimuru smacked Veldora in the back of the head before Milim even had the chance to respond. "No more fighting, Veldora. At least wait until we finish with your floor." "Gaha, fine, Rimuru." Seeing they were done, I spoke up. "So what are you guys working on?" "Gaha. We are working on my lair. I am to be the big boss of this dungeon, so my lair must be equally intimidating." "Veldora? That's not a bad idea, to be honest. His magicules will spawn the monsters for the dungeon, and he is also basically unbeatable by most beings in this world. The beings that are capable of beating him likely won't challenge the dungeon either. Are you going full merp with this? Like there are going to be bosses on every few floors, floor loot, chests?" Rimuru gave me a cheeky grin. "Haha, yup. This dungeon will be my masterpiece." "Huh? Your masterpiece, Rimuru? It's my skill that built all this, Humphrey." "Aha, well, it'll be our masterpiece then." Ramaris gave a nod. "That's better. Can you give us a tour of this dungeon? I am quite curious about it now." Chapter 68, Part 2. Can you give us a tour of this dungeon? I am quite curious about it now. Yeah. I want to see what super secret project you're working on. Even Milim was interested. Of course, my friends. Surprisingly, Veldora took the lead. He was surprisingly passionate about this project. The dungeon isn't fully complete though, there are still some floors that we aren't sure about which monsters to have on them," said Rimuru. "I see, well, maybe Milim or I can give some ideas." Count on me." We followed him as he led us to the first floor. This is the first floor, it is basically the Adventurers Guild of the dungeon. Adventurers can register here, sell the items they got in the dungeon, as well as pay to utilize the gym and training areas. Damn, I was impressed, they really went all out and have everything that's really needed to run a business like this. "How much does it cost to enter the dungeon?" Rimuru is the one who answered this time. 3 silver coins. It's not a whole lot, but it will add up over time. Besides, it has to be affordable for adventurers, most aren't super rich after all. 1 silver coin is equal to $10 US, so $30 total to enter the dungeon. We then continued on. Floors 2 to 4 contain super small fry-like F-rank monsters. Only the treasure rooms are guarded by a D-rank monster. Monsters had already begun being spawned as Veldora was using the very bottom floor as his living quarters. Treasure rooms? What do they have? I assume chests, but you never know. They have the low-tier chests that give low-tier rewards like low potions. Rimuru answered. Not crazy good, but super useful so that adventurers don't need to pay for their own potions as long as they are smart. This is only the beginning after all, so of course there aren't going to be super good items. There were some traps along the way, like moving tiles, rotating tiles which will mess with one's sense of direction, Low ceilings but no instant death traps on this floor. This is floor 5, it's also filled with small fry. I'm pretty sure basically everyone is small fry when compared to you, Veldora. I responded. Gaha, that's true, my friend. I felt Rimuru elbow me. Don't boost his ego more than it already is. Don't worry, Veldora knows not to go too far, right? Veldora gave a nervous laugh in response. Well, that answers that question. I expanded my senses a bit to see what sort of monsters were on this floor. Mostly D-rank monsters, so Veldora was right, small fry. Then there are treasure chests on this floor that start to contain equipment, though only the worst equipment. I nodded. Floors 6 to 9 were pretty similar, though C-rank monsters started to appear. Once we got to floor 10 I could tell it was a bit different. This is the first boss room. It was quite large and it was a single room, no maze to get through, no traps, nothing except for the monster in front of us. Said monster immediately cowered upon our entry to this floor. It knew we were not to be fucked with. It was a B-rank black spider. Is there any other reward for clearing this floor? I asked. Ranmaurice is the one who answered this time. Humphrey, of course there is, after all, the great Ranmaurice designed this. After they clear this floor they can teleport back here without having to clear the previous floors. That's good, having to redo everything every time you leave and come back would be a pain in the ass. It's kind of like a save point. And then the first 3 parties to clear this floor in a given month will receive 3 gold coins. My eyes widened in surprise once I heard that. 3 gold coins is no small sum to the average person after all. A single gold coin is about equal to $1,000 US dollars, so 3 of them is 3 grand. Hell, you can get quite a bit with less than 5 silver. A standard low potion costs 4 silver. I remember the average daily income in Ingrasha is 7 silver coins. Is 3 gold coins a lot? I remember I gave Felix a bunch of those. She's right. I decided to educate her a bit. If she was going to take running a territory seriously, then she should know the struggles of the common man. Don't compare the amount of money you've acquired over thousands of years to those regular humans have. You're a demon lord too, so money is easy to get for you, Milim. For most 3 gold coins is more than a month's worth of salary. I see. I was glad she was at least trying to understand what I was saying. Ruling a territory can be tough, especially so for Milim since she can't hand the work off to someone else like I can. Though I'm sure Ark is helping her quite a bit. We quickly moved on past floor 10, floors 11 to 19 were quite similar to 6 to 9, just with slightly stronger monsters. This is the second boss room, exclaimed Veldora. It's slightly stronger than the last one. It's an evil centipede, a B+ ranked monster, a little bit weaker than a mutated evil centipede I fought back in my first night at the ogre village. That mutated evil centipede was probably ranked at A. This is floor 25. Starting from here there is a very low chance to find special grade equipment. That chance will only increase as they go further and further down the dungeon. That makes sense. Some of the mid-tier weapons can be considered to be priceless, let alone the top-tier ones. It's rare for even an E-rank adventurer to have a full set of rare grade equipment. I'm sure once word gets out that you can find high-tier equipment in the dungeon, then people will begin to swarm in. We skipped past floors 26 to 29 seeing as there was nothing worth noting on those floors. I also noticed Ranmaurice taking a seat on my head but just decided to ignore that. Floor 30 has another boss, but this one is harder since he also has minions of his own, said Rimuru as we entered the boss room. Gaha, that's right, but he's still small fry. Man, Veldora is his own hype man. Rimuru sighed. We get it, Veldora, everyone is small fry for you. I knew you would understand, Rimuru. Veldora spread his arms wide and boasted. The Ogre Lord and his minions immediately bowed upon seeing us. The Ogre Lord on his own was ranked B+, but he had 5 minions as well, each ranked at B, so this boss fight will be a significant challenge. Those minions can be quite annoying after all, taking pot shots at the worst moments when everyone is fighting the boss. For this floor the first 5 parties that clear it in a given month will be given 10 gold coins. Damn, that's 10 grand. When do we get to see some strong monsters? I don't think any of the monsters in here can be considered strong to you except Veldora, Milim. I said. Milim crossed her arms and pouted. Yeah, that's boring. She is right though, none of us could really enjoy this dungeon. Is it possible to create avatars that we can inhabit that restrict our strength? Answer. It is possible by utilizing the pseudo-souls. Since pseudo-souls are emulations of the soul container, since they are empty they can be used as a medium to contain a soul. I shared Odin's idea with everyone. That sounds super fun, Felix. Maybe we can finally do that jumping thing you talked about. Indeed, we could do that, Milim. Gaha, as the king of the dungeon it is my duty to inspect my servants. Indeed I approve, Felix. King of the dungeon? Oh well, I guess the dude is living out his chuny fantasies. Ramaris was eagerly nodding alongside Veldora. That could work. It seems Rimuru is communicating with Raphael. I have another idea that we can use to add on to it. A black core appeared in Rimuru's palm. This was made using the core of Charybdis. It's basically an empty shell now, so it can be used to contain the pseudo-souls. In fact, we can use this to create monsters that we can inhabit. Ah, I did let Rimuru consume Charybdis back then, huh? He needed a bit of a boost in power back then. Still, our plan is coming together. But let's wait until the dungeon is open so we can prank some adventurers. We all agreed. We moved on to floor 40. This is where the true dungeon starts. There are instant death traps along with much stronger monsters. Death isn't something that needs to be worried about in the dungeon, as using Ramari's small world they can be revived at the entrance of the dungeon. Even the pain that comes with experiencing death is negated. That skill is busted. The boss on this floor is special too. It's a Tempest Serpent, a monster that can only be born directly from my magicules. And Veldora isn't wrong, as a monster born from Veldora's magicules it is stronger than most monsters at the A rank. What's the reward for clearing this floor? I asked out of curiosity. 20 gold coins. Damn. Floors 41 to 49 were far harder than the previous floors, as this is where things started to get serious. Only the truly strong could get past floor 40, and they were continuously tested as they went further into the dungeon. Some of the traps included poison arrows, poison swamps, airtight rooms which drain all the oxygen in the room, a cutting thread that instantly cuts one's head off if they run into it, a pitfall trap that doesn't kill you, but instantly takes you to a higher-up boss room, most likely resulting in death. Some of these traps are quite creative. And that isn't the only thing. As monsters get stronger they gain more intelligence, so the deeper you go in the dungeon, the smarter your enemies become. This is floor 49, my baby. Exclaimed Rimuru, and I understood why he said that, as this floor was filled with slimes. These slimes can merge together to create obstacles, and they close in on people once they have them surrounded. They are even immune to physical attacks. Truly, slimes are the greatest monsters out there, Amu. Rimuru was really enthusiastic about these guys, though he is a slime so it makes sense. Dude is probably trying to hype himself up. There were corridors that were made entirely from slimes. Slimes were literally raining down from the sky. Hell, there were even golems made of slimes, and each of these slimes was extremely corrosive. Man, Rimuru went all out on this floor. Now from here on there aren't many bosses, as we aren't sure which bosses to use. They need to be pretty strong after all. For floor 50 maybe we can use Gazalor Mezul, said Rimuru. That's the ox and horse guys, right? I asked. Amu. Veldora took the lead. Floors 51 to 60 haven't been completed yet. There are some golems along with guns that fire poison gas, but nothing else. We were thinking of making it once with more modern things, like laser beams and sonic cannons. But we have time to think about it. It's going to be a long while until anyone gets to this floor, going by the average strength of an adventurer party. The only humans that I think can make it to this floor are Hinata and her 10 great saints. Most trained otherworlders probably can as well. I mention. They are born stronger physiques due to their bodies being remade out of magicules during their journey to the cardinal world, along with most of them possessing unique skills. Yup, but I don't think many of them will come here, well, at least not immediately. He was right, it might suck, but most otherworlders were either enslaved to other kingdoms or with the Eastern Empire. And then floors 61 to 90 don't have any bosses yet, said a pouting Ramaris. But maybe a rare unique monster will be born and can take up that role. Well, you could always have some floors filled with dragons or demons. In fact, you could probably make one of the bosses one of those demons you summoned, Rimuru. Rimuru looked thoughtful for a moment before saying, that's a good idea. Amu. I, the great Milim Nava, can get you some dragons too. Ah, I already feel bad for the dragons on the Kanat Mountains. Really? Thanks a lot, Milim, said Rimuru. The dragons will probably eventually evolve into dragon lords like Raiden at some point as well. They will be constantly bathed in Veldora's magicules after all. So you should probably have them near the end of the dungeon. I mention. Maybe we can have them right above Veldora's floor, that way they can get the most out of his magicules, added Rimuru. After floor 50 even the regular monsters were at least B rank, most were at B+ and higher. Some monsters like the Death Wolves would form packs. A single Death Wolf is B+ rank. A pack of B+ rank monsters will be a challenge to deal with for most humans. A Death Wolf is an interesting monster, since they are technically dead spirits. Physical attacks will not harm them unless they were from either a holy weapon, or magic weapon. And they are just a single type of monster that is possible to encounter past floor 50. Rimuru really isn't making this easy. I shrugged. It's up to you. Since you don't have any more bosses to show me, how about you tell me what's after floor 90? Floor 91 is where we store Magicore so that it can evolve into Magisteel. Floor 92 is where all the evolved Magisteel is stored. Floor 93 is where we cultivate Hippocute herbs, and Floor 94 is the garden," said Rimuru. "It seems we had a similar idea, where I am using the Magicules released by an entire country to evolve my Magicore. He only needs to rely on Veldora. Fucking true dragons." Chapter 69, Part 3. Floor 95 is where all the Dryads, Treants, and some elves we rescued are staying. "Hold up. Elves you rescued?" He nodded. "Some people were enslaving a bunch of Magin from this forest, so as the demon lord in charge of it I had to make sure such a thing won't happen again. I assume there are no survivors." Rimuru takes things seriously when it comes to his people, not to mention he has an elf fetish. "I'm sure you're loving having a bunch of elves on demand." Rimuru blushed. "Gah. Ramaris flew off my head. He even set up an elf cabaret on floor 95. Rimuru looked at Ramaris with betrayal. "Ramaris. Hee, that's what you get, meanie." "Eh? Where did Milim go?" exclaimed Rimuru. "Now that I think about it, she would have usually said something by now." "Oh, she went to the garden, she said something about honey and then left," said Veldora. "Of course." Rimuru sighed in relief. "Ah, if it's just that everything should be fine. I think. Don't taunt Murphy like that." While Rimuru was panicking, I asked Veldora, "Do you have a floor all to yourself?" He looked up from his manga. "Yes. Me and Ramaris share floor 100 as the entrance to the dwelling of the spirits is also located there. Do you mind taking me there?" "Yes, my friend. I will show you my collection of sacred texts." "Oh, take me too," said Ramaris. And so Veldora teleported the three of us to floor 100, leaving Rimuru to panic alone. We appeared in a large room. "Welcome to my room." I took a look around. It was fully furnished with a bed, a couch, some tables. I even saw a shelf full of manga. "This is a damn nice room." "Ah, I got something for you when I went on my trip, Veldora." I took out the figure I got for him. I got some from a few franchises. For the Dragon Ball ones there was a Goku figure, a Vegeta figure, a Broly figure, and a Majin Buu figure. Then there was a Charizard from Pokemon, and then a Chun-Li from Street Fighter. I set all of them on a nearby table. Veldora immediately started drooling over them. "Is this a limited edition Broly from Dragon Ball Arise?" Maybe. It was kind of expensive, so probably." Veldora looked at me with stars in his eyes. "You are officially my second brother, Felix. If anyone is mean to you, let me know and I'll take care of it." "Okay? Thanks, I guess." I noticed Ramaris looking at me from the corner of my eye with a pout on her face. I took out the chocolates I planned to give her. "Here, Pipsqueak." "Ah. Thanks, Felix. I knew you wouldn't forget about me." I nervously looked to the side and began whistling. Thankfully Ramaris didn't notice anything suspicious as she was focused on the chocolate. While they were examining their presents, I looked around the floor. Once I left Veldora's room, I was able to truly see the size of this floor. It was 100 meters wide on each side. It seems to be somewhere Veldora can make a grandstanding and fight challengers off. There were 2 other rooms on the side which I ignored. It would be rude to go through others' personal rooms without permission after all. I noticed Rimuru teleport in with Milim in tow. "How could you guys leave me like that? You looked like you needed some alone time." Complete bullshit, and Rimuru could tell. Time to bribe him. I took out the gins I got for him, the ones filled with elves. "Hey, I got a present for you from the Earth I visited. I think it's something you'll like a lot." I made sure to cover the front so Milim didn't see anything. From the way Rimuru's eyes zeroed in on the gins, I think he knew what it was. I handed them all to him, and he immediately stored them in his stomach. He giggled perversely. "Cough cough, ah, thank you, Felix, I knew you understood me." Rimuru and his elf fetish, yesh. I can only imagine how he would react to the Sorcerer's Dynasty, a nation filled with elves, and from what I've heard their monarch is incredibly attractive. Speaking of the elves, did you invite Sarian to your festival? Rimuru stopped drooling over the gins. I invited Irald and his daughter. I assume they are going to be Sarian's representatives. I see. Man, this festival of his is really turning out to be a big thing, huh? I guess people want to understand the so-called friendly demon lord. You invited Hinata, right? Yeah, why are you asking? I was about to respond, but a look of realization appeared on Rimuru's face. Ah. I see. I didn't know you liked girls like that, Felix. You have good taste. I rolled my eyes. She may be attractive, but with her personality I don't think anyone could have a relationship with her. I was just wondering if she was coming, since if Hinata is coming, Luminous might also show up, since she probably wants to get a good look at Tempest. More chances to mess with Luminous are always good. Guy Crimson, Guy contemplated the news that his useless maid, Rain, had delivered to him after he sent her to Felix's domain. To think even Violet would decide to serve him, 3 primordials all serving one man, not just that, 3 named and incarnated primordials. Each of them had definitely evolved into demon dukes. With their mastery over magic and their combat proficiency, Guy could see them being a match for a demon lord like Luminous. When Felix visits him, he will have to figure out his real intentions. No man recruits such a force without a goal of some sort in mind. From what he knew of Felix, he wasn't the type to go on a rampage, so he didn't need to worry too much about humanity. As long as the humans weren't disturbed too much, and the balance was kept, he didn't particularly care what Felix got up to. It would be best to keep Felix as an ally since his game with Ryudra was soon coming to an end. Someone as powerful as Felix will be helpful to have on his side. I knocked on the door to where Kurobe has all his blacksmithing stuff set up. I could hear a bunch of banging from well outside the door. I ended up hanging out with everyone for a few hours before telling Rimuru I was going to head back after visiting Kurobe. Millerma already went back to her domain as she didn't want Frey to be madder than she likely already was. Come in. Once I opened the door, I could feel the temperature increase drastically. I took a look around to see what had changed. It seems Kurobe took in some apprentices. Ah. Lord Felix, welcome. I turned towards the voice and was met with a smiling Cajun. He and Kurobe have been working together for a while now, seeing as they are both passionate about blacksmithing. Hey Cajun. What did you need, if you don't mind me asking, Lord Felix? Or are you just here to look around? I wanted to have a new weapon made, and then I also wanted to have 2 weapons upgraded a bit. Cajun had a thoughtful look on his face. That should be doable. Hell, we could probably make it even better than it would normally be if you supply us with that mysterious energy of yours. Stardust, huh? Well, I'm fine with that. Sure, if it makes the weapons stronger, then why not? Haha, great. Working with that energy is great, so many new and interesting ways to incorporate it into a weapon. Well, I'm glad you're excited then. Let me call Kurobe over, he's helping one of the apprentices in another room. Chapter 70, Part 4. Once Cajun left, I decided to take a look around. Most of the apprentices were focused on their craft, but some were paying attention to me. I took a look at the weapons on the walls. Most of these were relatively low grade, unique grade at the highest, and even those seemed quite mediocre for Kurobe's work. I assume Kurobe and Cajun keep the truly good stuff somewhere else. But even the best of their works likely couldn't quite yet compare to a weapon I create with material creation using Stardust. Last I heard from Rimuru, the highest grade Kurobe could make so far was top of the line unique grade, along with bottom of the barrel legend grade. And even then he needed superb materials for them. Of course that changed when Stardust is involved. The reason I'm having him forge a weapon for Raiden, and upgrading Sako and Sukana's weapons rather than just making them new ones, is due to the bond they will create with their weapons. If they work their asses off evolving it themselves, there is a sort of connection that forms with the weapon and the wielder, something that allows them to use the weapon to its full potential. I have such a connection with my weapon. The Demoness Trio does not, however, since I just created God-grade weapons for them. Though it's not a big deal for them, their greatest strength is in their magic. Though there is another reason that I don't want to straight up give Sako and Raiden God-grade weapons. They aren't ready for them. God-grade weapons can allow someone who does not possess an ultimate skill to fight against someone who does without instantly losing. That kind of power needs to be built up towards, or else someone may not know how to wield that much power. Let alone the fact that neither Raiden nor Sako have enough magicules or magic power to properly wield such a weapon. But I'm sure they'll reach that level in time. I turned towards the door. I sensed Kurobe and Cajun about to come through. Kurobe bowed. Welcome to my workshop, Lord Felix. I gave him a nod. Thanks for having me and making time for me. It is no problem for one of Rimuru-sama's friends and a demon lord. Understandably, the culture in this world is a bit different, so most Majin go out of their way to please those with power. It's basically self-preservation. So which weapon would you like crafted? We will do the modifications first, as that will take far less time, but I would still like a general idea of what you want made. I nodded. I was taking inspiration from Raiden Shogun for Raiden's weapon. I want a Ecchi, one that is extremely adept at enhancing and manipulating lightning. A Ecchi is a Japanese sword that was used by samurai, though it had a slightly longer hilt and blade compared to the far more famous katana. I also didn't need to specify the length or anything, as once equipment reaches a certain grade the user is easily able to make subtle adjustments to make the weapon more personalized. Seeing as this weapon is going to be created partially using Stardust, it will definitely reach such a level. Once Kurobe was finished writing everything down on a notepad, he led me into another room, his personal workshop. Cajun at some point along the way went off to do his own thing. While Cajun was a good blacksmith, he wasn't nearly as prodigious and skillful as Kurobe. Hell, I could see Kurobe one day making legend-grade equipment with just normal magisteel. Dude is a beast. Give me one moment while I gather everything I need, Lord Felix. For the brand new weapon, what did you want the main material to be? Maybe one suited to dragons, since Raiden is one herself. Do you have any materials that go well with dragons? Kurobe's eyes brightened up considerably. Yes. I have wanted to work with this material for some time but did not wish to create a purposeless weapon out of it. Raiden-san's weapon will be perfect for it. That's great and all, but what material is it? I asked. Kurobe can get rather excited when it comes to blacksmithing. It's something he is passionate about after all. Ah. It is dragatite. Something that can only be created when adamantite is bathed in the aura of a true dragon. A never-before-seen material. Damn, that's impressive. Who knows what the aura of a true dragon can add to this weapon? Now even I'm a little bit excited. We're still doing the upgrades first though, right? Some of the excitement in Kurobe's eyes faded, but he did still seem passionate about the weapons. Indeed. I took the weapons out of my infinity space. Kurobe seemed quite interested in Sukuna's weapon, likely due to how unique it is in this world. We shall start with Siko's blade since I am most familiar with it. Has she given it a name yet? I smirked. Yes, she has, Hercules' Edge. At some point I told Siko about some mythological heroes and such from my old world. It seems she took some inspiration from those. Kurobe nodded firmly. A good name for a good blade. I nodded and handed it to him while setting Sukuna's weapon on the side. Siko's blade is currently a unique grade weapon, with the potential to reach legend grade with some time and use. Hopefully after the upgrade it will be a whole new beast entirely. Lord Felix, can you supply and control your power in very small bursts so I can imbue it properly into the weapon? I nodded and began to supply him with extremely minuscule amounts of stardust. I made sure to control it as even the slightest mishap could destroy Siko's weapon and kill Kurobe. Stardust is not to be fucked around with. Kurobe soon began hammering away, making the blade sharper, stronger, and more durable. His unique skill, Divine Craftsman, really helped him figure out how to best use the stardust. I of course took the chance to analyze his unique skill. I might as well be called a skill slut at his point. I needed to help him for about 3 hours total to finish upgrading Hercules' Edge and Sukuna's weapon, not long at all compared to how long it takes to forge a weapon. Kurobe looked at the two weapons prettily. These two are truly some of my finest works, even if I didn't craft it from scratch. And he's right to be proud, both of them are now bona fide legend-grade weapons. Sukuna's weapon had the ability to manipulate electricity to create discharges originally, now it can do far more than that. He can use it to help enhance his cleave and dismantle by imbuing his skill in his weapon and using that to attack his opponents. Along with that, the electricity manipulation is far more powerful now. Siko's new weapon is also a beast. I shared my idea of allowing her weapon to directly attack one spiritual body. Kurobe seemed intrigued by my idea, so I transferred all the knowledge necessary to include such a function into the weapon. Now Siko's Odachi is capable of attacking the spiritual body directly, completely bypassing one's physical body and a good chunk of their defenses. I'm sure she will be happy with this. Though I'll need to upgrade her scabbard, I'll just make her a new one. Maybe one that is bigger on the inside than the outside so that it isn't so bulky to carry around. I turned towards Kurobe and gave him a respectful bow. Thanks for your help, Kurobe. I'm sure Siko and my other subordinate will like them a lot. I could visibly see the panic appear on Kurobe's face. Ah. It was my honor, Felix-sama. Please don't bow to a blacksmith like me. Haha, one's profession doesn't matter when thanking someone for doing a favor, it's basic manners. Or at least it should be. Anyways, how long do you think it will take to forge Raiden's weapon? Kurobe looked thoughtful for a moment before saying, it will most likely take between 1 to 2 weeks. I nodded. Then I'll come pick it up in 2 weeks. Kurobe nodded. I shall have it ready by then for you. Great, thanks. Anyways, I'll take my leave now. Thanks for the help, Kurobe, and give Kajin my thanks as well. Have a safe trip, Lord Felix. I should probably pay Rimuru a visit before I leave. Chapter 71, Part 5. I teleport into his office where he is doing some work. Ah. Felix, you gotta stop doing that. I smirk at the slime sitting behind a desk. Never. If I can teleport wherever I want, then I will do so. He sighed. Whatever, I know I can't stop you. Anyways, what did you need? Nothing in particular. Was just letting you know I'm heading back. Ah. You didn't want to stay at your place? Nah, Siko is probably waiting for me after our fun time. I could see the realization come on to Rimuru's slime face. You bastard. You got to bag a girl as hot as Siko? Wait till he realizes I'm sleeping with Lalitina and Raiden as well. Is that why you came here, huh? So you could brag to someone who isn't capable of enjoying those kinds of things anymore? I rolled my eyes. As if the topic just came up. I don't need to show off my accomplishments to you to feel good about myself. Gah. You lucky bastard. You already said that, buddy. Maybe I should give Shuna a hint? She does have a bit of a crush on Rimuru, but of course the dense fuck won't realize. Of course there is the issue that Rimuru doesn't have any sort of genitals due to limitations he put on himself. I'll help a brother out. Rimuru, you know you can easily give yourself a dick, right? The entire reason you don't have one is due to your own self-image influencing your physical appearance. Maybe you can't see there being a penis since the original owner of that body was a female, but you can easily solve that issue by talking to Raphael. I'm sure it can help you out on that front. I'm not sure why he hasn't asked his skill himself, to be honest. Rimuru froze for a moment before he leaped into the air. Yippee. Once he calmed down he looked at me with tears in his little slime eyes. Thank you, Felix. I knew I could count on you. You are officially my brother in all but blood. I waved him off. Yeah, have fun with your new dick. Hey. Now where is Shuna? She is needed to make my plan complete. She usually hangs around here since she serves as Rimuru's secretary, assistant. He does need someone competent with him after all. Ah. There she is. I walked towards where I sensed her. She seemed to be in the kitchen, probably preparing some food for Rimuru. I knocked on the door and entered once I heard a response. Shuna paused her chopping to turn towards me. Ah. Felix-sama, welcome. Did you require some food? If so, please be patient. I am already working on preparing a meal for both you and Rimuru-sama. Ah, maybe I'll stay for that then. But no getting off track. Great. But that isn't quite why I'm here. You see, I heard from a little bird that you're interested in my buddy Rimuru. Almost instantly a blush appeared on Shuna's face. Ah. And no. It would be improper for a servant like me to care for my lord in that way. Not really? I'm sure there are a bunch of people in relationships with their servants, though they might not all be consensual. That's not a fun thought to dwell on. I pretended to look thoughtful. Well, I must be mistaken then. But if you find someone who fits that description, be sure to tell them that Rimuru is shy so he won't ever make the first move. It's part of his culture from his past life. Stupid Japanese customs. If someone as beautiful, and kind, and thoughtful as you are to approach Rimuru with such intentions, I'm sure he would be overjoyed. Really? I nodded firmly. How about you be honest now? Shuna looked down meekly and whispered something. I didn't quite hear that, could you repeat it? Of course I heard her, but I might as well mess with her a bit. She took a deep breath. I like Lord Rimuru. Maybe not that loud, he might have heard that. He didn't, seeing as I placed a barrier, but teasing Shuna is fun. I'm just teasing, don't worry. Anyways, I've said what needs to be said, what you do now is up to you. Yes, Felix-sama. I will not disappoint you. Thank you for your help. Haha, sure. I'll be waiting with Rimuru for that food. Yes. I walked back into Rimuru's office. I thought you were leaving, Felix. Rimuru was in his human form now, likely inspecting his new goods. I was, but then I heard that Shuna was making something and decided to stay to try it. I see, that's understandable, she makes the best food. As if. My Raiden makes the best food. I scoffed. What do you mean? Raiden learned form Shuna, so isn't it obvious who's better? Humphrey, the student always surpasses the master. Rimuru and I continued to argue until Shuna came in with the food. I noticed she still had a bit of a blush. Hey, Rimuru better thank me later. We quickly finished up hot food, but as I was leaving I said, enjoy your night today, Rimuru, What's with that tone, Felix? Nothing. I ignored his questions and just teleported back to Ozrat. I appeared right where I left, though Siko was no longer here in her bedroom. She probably went out to do something. It is getting quite dark now, so I guess I'll give her the weapon later. Oh? A thought communication from Arcuade. Oh master, I am ready for you now. Oh shit. I forgot about that misunderstanding. So by ready does she mean? Hell yeah. Little Felix is going to be having the time of his life. Coming, Arcuade. Please do hurry, my lord, I am quite eager for our time together tonight. If that didn't get me hard, then I'm sure what I'll see inside her room will. Rimuru Tempest. Rimuru made sure he finished up all the work he was supposed to do today. He didn't want Shuna to be upset at him tomorrow after all. Once he confirmed that everything was done, he teleported to his little home. It wasn't large, seeing as he spent most of his time as a slime. It was big enough for a normal human to live in, but nowhere near as large as that other rulers should be. But he did have a nice pond in the yard. As Rimuru was preparing to rest, he heard a knock on the door. He did not need rest, but he did enjoy sleeping to just relax his mind. Oh? What did Shuna need? Yes, Shuna. May I come in, Lord Rimuru? Did something happen? Of course, Shuna. He heard the door to his home open and turned to greet Shuna, but paused the moment he got a look at her. Shuna was dressed in nothing but a kimono with nothing underneath. He could even see the imprint of her nipples. Gah! How sexy. Did you need something, Shuna? He ignored the stutter in his voice. Yes, Rimuru-sama. Please accept me, she said with a massive blush on her face. She quickly took off the kimono she was wearing, not that it was covering much in the first place. He took a good look at her entire naked body. Damn, she was hot. All of a sudden his mind flashed back to the words Felix said as he was leaving. That damn lovable bastard. Well, such an opportunity likely won't appear often, and if Shuna is clearly willing, then maybe he can finally get rid of his virginity. From how Shuna was looking. Did she maybe like him? Did a girl as beautiful as Shuna actually like him? Woo. Chapter 72. The coupling. It didn't take me long to approach Arcuade's room. I knocked on the door to let her know I was there and then opened it. It's game time, baby. I looked towards Arcuade and stilled. She was sitting on the love seat she had in her room, and she was dressed in a set of red lingerie with a glass of wine in her hand. She looked incredible. These damn primordials. Arcuade smiled at me seductively, though I did notice that she did have a blush. Hey, so she isn't as confident as she is appearing to be, huh? I can work with that. Welcome to my quarters, my lord. I took a look around, nodded and said, I should have paid a visit sooner. I would not have minded if you had. I smirked. Oh well, might as well begin making up for lost time now, no? Arcuade's blush became more pronounced. Indeed, such would be a wise course of action. I approached her and took a seat next to her. It was slightly cramped since we were only sharing a single love seat, but I didn't mind, and from what I saw, neither did Arcuade. Did you want some wine, my lord? I would if you wouldn't mind. Of course, I will serve it right away. Arcuade grabbed a glass from the table and filled it up until about halfway. Here you are, my lord. Thank you, Arcuade. I took a sip and was pleasantly surprised. It's the same wine I drank at the Walpurgis. I didn't know we had this one. I looked at Arcuade questioningly. She took that as the key to answer my unasked question. When Rain came to visit, I had asked her what wine it was that was served at the Walpurgis that day, since it appeared that you enjoyed it. I only received it today. Huh, well, no one ever said these primordials aren't hard-working. Shit, didn't Rain only visit earlier today technically? Damn, she works fast. I see, thank you for that, Arcuade. It is my duty, my lord. Haha, you primordials are all like that, huh? I can't say summoning you wasn't one of the better things that happened to me. Arcuade took a sip of her wine and said, well, being summoned by you has been the best thing to happen in my long life. So many interesting things, even my game with Violet and John was finished due to you. You may not know it, but life for us primordials is quite dull. Noir got bored of achieving more strength, so he stagnated intentionally. Us three were only kept entertained by causing chaos in the cardinal world and by our games with each other. I tried to look at what life must have been like from her perspective, and I could sort of understand her. She's been around since the dawn of time. That's an amount of time that I can't even comprehend. I sure as hell know I would get bored doing the same shit over and over. Arcuade was stuck in the demon realm with only a few she could call her equals. Thankfully I won't have to deal with something like that. No matter how long I live, there will always be new worlds to discover. I'm sure I can keep myself entertained. Hey, maybe I can even play ROB sometime. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying being in my service then. Now how about we move past those heavy topics? I smirked. Time to get laid. Don't you think it's getting a bit tight here? Oh? Is that so? I can get you another seat then, my lord. Hey, there's no need for that. I have one here you can sit on. I said as I patted my lap. Arcuade's eyes widened very slightly, but her blush was back. I didn't know that you would prefer that, my lord. All you had to do was say such a thing earlier and I would have moved to my proper seat, she said as she got up. She turned around slightly, giving me a perfect view of her beautiful heart-shaped ass. Truly her proportions were perfect. We both knew exactly where this was going, so I didn't bother with subtlety anymore and blatantly groped her ass. Being shameless is something I have been cultivating within myself. Arcuade turned her head to look at me, her red blush still smoldering on her pale skin as she seductively said, feel free to squeeze all you like, my lord, haha, don't worry, I will. I could already feel myself beginning to harden up. I let go of her ass so she could take her seat on my lap, which she quickly did so. I quickly grabbed her waist and just held her close to me. She began to grind her ass against my growing erection. Hey, two can play at that game. Since she was only in her lingerie, I had easy access to her entire body, something I took advantage of. I slowly slid my hands up from her waist to her breasts. And damn, were her tits big. I gave them a slight grope. They were far too large to hold entirely, but even squeezing them was a luxury most men would die for. Please touch me more, she moaned out breathily. Hey, pleasure magic really is cheating. I was enhancing any and all pleasure she would gain from this encounter by multiple times. Hell, I'm sure I'm capable of mind-breaking someone hentai style with this magic, though only those who aren't spiritual beings. If you say so. I whisper into her ear. I could feel her shiver slightly as I said those words. I slowly slid one of my hands under her bra and began directly groping her tits. I could feel her nipples harden up against my palm. My other hand slid from her breasts up to her chin. I tilted her head slightly to the left and claimed her soft wine-flavored lips, causing her to release a hot sigh. She lightly moaned into my mouth as I used my free hand to continue its molestation of her tits. I prodded her mouth with my tongue, causing her to slowly spread her lips wide enough for my tongue to begin its attack. My tongue explored every inch of her mouth unimpeded, from her teeth to her gums, all were made available to me. We stayed in the kiss for a few minutes before I slowly pulled back. Due to our natures, we basically did not need any oxygen. We could quite literally continue making out forever. Arcuaid's blood-red eyes stared into me. It didn't take long at all for her to lose control of herself as she lunged in for another kiss. A complete 180 change in personality when compared to her usual royal personality. MPH, I can see why Violet is always desperate for your attention, my lord. Arcuaid moaned out in between the kiss. I slid one of my fingers around one of her areolas before I took hold of her nipple and lightly pinched it between my fingers. Master, she mewed out. I continued to prod at her breasts and nipples as pulled back from the kiss and said, hey, Lalatina is a fun one, always so submissive, always so desperate. I could already feel the heat radiating from her core along with a bit of dampness on my pants. Hey, she was already leaking. This was going to be fun. Are you just as desperate? I whispered out huskily. I am the far superior choice when compared to her. I will take care of all of your needs so you will no longer need to be bothered with her, Arcuaid moaned out as she increased the pace of her rhythmic grinding. Hey, using her rivalry against Lalatina is going to be fun. I moved my hand away from Arcuaid's appetizing breasts and grabbed her waist. Is that so? Then why don't I toy with your body as I please then? Not giving her any time to react, I spun her around so she was facing me and then immediately attacked her lips. I shifted my hands down from her waist onto her panty-clad ass, something which Arcuaid was far from bothered about. She just continued moaning into my mouth, asking for more. Arcuaid began to grind her hot core into the tent I pitched. Her panties were far from enough to hide how hot and wet she was. I continued to molest her ass as I pleased, even sliding one of my hands under her panties and groping her directly, sinking my fingers into the sinfully soft flesh of her ass. I could feel her growing wetter and wetter by the second as she continued to grind her needy, covered slit against my hard-on, almost squelching each time as it kissed my cock through the fabric. I can feel you. You're so hard. She whispered hotly in between kisses. Guess whose fault that is? I growled at her. I shifted our position slightly and moved one of my hands to the front of her panties, and quickly invaded them. I moved my hand down to her quivering slit and began to tease it. Please help yourself. I took that as all the permission I needed and put one of my fingers into Arcuaid's tight little pussy. Yes. Touch me more. Arcuaid never stopped her frantic kisses, even as I fingered her. I slowly increased the number of fingers inside of her until I got to 3, at which point she came explosively all over me. Her wordless scream reverberated throughout the room, even as her tight inner walls squeezed down on my fingers. My pants were all wet due to her release, but I didn't mind. Now why don't you show me your devotion, my beloved demon? Her eyes regained some of their focus as she said, Ma, yes, I will prove that I am the better choice. I pinched her clit roughly at the end, which caused her to moan out loud enough that I'm sure she could have been heard all around the castle. It's a good thing I put a barrier up. Then why don't you get to it? Maybe if you do a good enough job I'll toy with you a bit more. I could tell that the last line got Arcuaid far more turned on than anything else I said. Fucking demons with their fucked up kinks. But I'm a demon, so I guess I'm included. Arcuaid slowly got up off my lap, allowing me a chance to appreciate all of her gorgeous curves. She kneeled down in front of me, giving me a perfect view of her cleavage. She was able to use this time to regain some control over herself. Now allow me to properly serve you, my lord, she said hotly. Such words are enough to get any man diamond hard, so I got rid of everything that was between my dick and Arcuaid's face. The moment my rock-hard cock was revealed to Arcuaid, her eyes zeroed in on it. I could see an almost reverent light in her eyes as she stared at my manhood. She slowly leaned forward and placed a chaste kiss at the tip before she spread her mouth wide and took the tip inside. I groaned as she swirled her tongue around the tip of my cock with the skill of an expert courtesan. These damn demons are great for sex, It's like they have an inherent instinct as to how to best please their partner. Arcuaid used her left hand to hold me steady at the base as her pouty cherry-colored lips went to town on the rest of my dick. I put one of my hands on top of her head, causing her to freeze for a moment before she restarted her oral service with renewed vigor. Here she was, a proud primordial kneeling before me in submission whilst pleasing me in the most intimate of ways. Each time my grip on her white locks tightened, she sucked harder in lustful gratitude as her slightly watery blood-red eyes looked up at me, silently begging me to continue. I, of course, being the generous master that I am, obliged her, causing her to shiver in pleasure from the rough treatment she oh so craved. I continued to use her like that for what must have been 20 minutes. Of course I could have finished far sooner, but I wanted to enjoy the power I held over her. Giving in to my more sadistic urges once in a while is always a ton of fun. Usually I only act this way with Lalitina, seeing as she enjoys it, but Arcuaid seems to enjoy submitting to some degree as well. Though not to the level of Raiden, let alone Lalitina. It seems Arcuaid was a switch, she could be dominant but also submissive. How fun. I decided to finally get to the fun part of tonight. I'm going to be coming right into your mouth, make sure none of it leaks out, and don't swallow it, okay? Arcuaid eagerly nodded, or as well as she could nod with me face fucking her. It didn't take long for me to reach my peak without me actively holding myself back. I pushed Arcuaid down as far as she could go, causing her to moan out uncontrollably, and so I busted right into her mouth. Once I was done, I slowly loosed the grip I had on her head, allowing her to slowly dislodge herself from my crotch. Arcuaid's cheeks were bulging out. You can swallow some of it now, but not all. She nodded, her gulps were audible, and so was the sounds her throbbing slit was making as she played with it. Arcuaid slowly opened her mouth to show me what a good job she did. I could see the cum that filled her mouth and submerged her tongue in white. Swallow it all. Arcuaid nodded as she closed her mouth and eyes. She obediently swallowed thickly, until with a breathless pant she opened her mouth once again to show me her spotless tongue. I smiled down at her. Good girl. Seeing as Arcuaid was still recovering, what with her audible pants and continued masturbation, I decided to get her attention the only way I knew how. I lightly smacked her on the forehead with my cock before resting it on her face for her to lewdly stare at. Her eyes regained some of their usual focus as she panted out, what now, my lord? Now. You can please me by using your lower hole. Arcuaid got the idea of what I was asking almost immediately. She stopped playing with herself as an eager look appeared on her face as she purred, please lay down on my bed then, my lord. I shall please you far better than Violet will ever be capable of. It seems my earlier words snapped her out of her previous delirious state. And she said that so confidently. Well, it's time if she can back up her talk. Hey, we'll see about that. I got up and walked towards her bed, which was an inviting sight on its own, with the luxurious red sheets made out of silk from a knee-ranked monster. I laid myself down, my back laying against the headboard. I turned towards Arcuaid and was met with a maddening sight. Arcuaid was standing naked, giving me a seductive pose, as if showing me what awaits. Her lingerie littered all over the floor. Looking over her body, I nod to myself in approval, causing Arcuaid to beam in my direction, happy that I enjoy her body. Her breasts are larger than I thought. It seems she usually wears some rather tight clothing, and she has the cutest little nipples topping each of her breasts, along with curvy childbearing hips. Beautiful, my dear. Now why don't you get that body of yours over here? I order, watching her seductively prowl towards me. Once she is within range, I reach forwards and grope her bare breasts, causing her to moan out as I'm squeezing and molesting her milky white tits for my own pleasure and amusement. I eventually pull back. Now why don't you begin your true service, Arcuaid? At once, my lord. Arcuaid slowly began to crawl towards me until she was right on top of me. I could see her blood-red eyes shine with adoration in them. Adoration for me. It was kind of heavy, but I'll make sure I'm worthy of her adoration. She steadied my cock with one hand. She seductively licked her lips as she aligned my spit-covered cock with her dripping wet pussy, to the point where I was able to feel her slightly grind against my manhood, all while her eyes didn't move from my own. The heat radiating from her pristine pussy lips was scorching. From the very day I accepted to serve you, I was yours, my lord. This will only make it official. She purred as she dropped herself down to the hilt. The ensuing slickness that welcomed me inside was almost unbearable. My cock was throbbing against her quivering folds. I made sure to use my pleasure magic to the max. After all, you aren't really trying if you aren't cheating. Her moan echoed throughout the room as I felt her instantly come upon my entrance. The sheer sensation of her hot insides welcoming me was unreal. The sultry wet heat, the dripping wetness, the snug, tight fit of her feminine folds, along with the added bonus of her inner walls sending squeezing pulses begging for more, made it hard not to instantly come. Only my self-control saved me from instantly letting loose inside of her, no matter how much Arcuaid wants me to. There was no way I was going to be holding back. She may be riding me cowgirl style, but I can be a power bottom just as well as I can be a dominant top. I grabbed her hips and began thrusting inside of her at speeds that would break most women, but not Arcuaid, even as she was moaning, begging for more. I shifted my right hand onto her generous bust, even as it was shaking up and down, and pinched her nipple. Her eyes glazed in pleasure even as she continued to time her thrusts with my own. Shoo-goo-dot-ood. She was frantically fucking her soaked cunt up and down on my shaft, even as she was moaning and mewling her praises, her love, her devotion. I continued to thrust into her like a man possessed, even as her voice fluttered out again, "And more please. You feel so good in me, master. Ask and you shall receive." I groaned out. I could see a visible indent appear on her midsection. I continued to batter against the bump I could feel at the end of her tunnel, the only proof that was needed to show that I was as deep inside her as I could be. But every plunge I took into Arcuaid eager, welcoming depths brought me closer and closer to the edge, and I did not feel like withholding Arcuaid's reward from her. I could feel squirts of liquid hitting my pelvis, wetting me with her juices. The look on her face was tantalizing, the parted lips, pleasure-drunk eyes, the flush on her cheeks, the constant coaxing of her inner walls. She gained some sense in the middle of her wild moaning. "Give it to me. Give it to me, my lord, my love. I need to feel you spill your essence inside of me." Her folds began taking on a far desperate action as they begged for my release. It didn't take long for me to feel my release approaching. I tightened the grip I had on her hips and began thrusting with renewed ferocity. I made sure I was as deep as I possibly could be as I finally came inside of her. Oh yes. This orgasm was far more intense than the previous. I shot rope after rope of my cum into her not-so-fertile womb, filling her up. Eventually, once my release finished, she seemed to have lost all energy in her body as she collapsed on top of me, something that shouldn't have normally been possible, but pleasure magic is a cheat. Throughout this session I have been slowly increasing the amount of pleasure she receives from my touch, to the point where I made her slightly addicted to my touch, to my affection. It was soul deep. It may be wrong, but who gives a fuck? I'm a demon lord and a demon. I'm far from the worst out there, especially when considering Arcuaid would love it if I did even more than I already have. I could feel Arcuaid's nipples grind against my chest as she recovered from her own explosive orgasms. Throughout our entire session she had orgasmed multiple times. Pleasure magic is far too strong not to cause an orgasm. Arcuaid slowly raised her face and kissed me, right on the lips. It was a chaste kiss, far from any of the debauchery that took place tonight, one that she poured her feelings into. When she broke it off, no words needed to be said. I slid my hand from her waist down to her heart-shaped ass and squeezed, my fingers sinking into her fat cheeks. "You didn't think we were done now, did you?" "I'm far from tired." I could feel a smile form on her face as she laid on my chest. "Of course not, my lord. Please use your demon to your heart's content." "Don't mind if I do then." I flipped us around so that I was on top of her. She was surprised for a moment before she spread her arms out and latched onto me. I ran my hands across her naked body. It was far easier to appreciate it in this position than the previous one. Her ample firm breasts swayed slightly. Large round peaks of vanilla, each topped with a cherry red nipple. It's quite the feast for the eyes, and Arcuaid's eager look only added to it. My cock was resting on her midsection. I slowly slid it down towards her fluttering, swollen pussy lips. The head of my member nudged her entrance, the heat radiating from it only motivating me further. I thrusted in with no warning, causing Arcuaid to moan out with abandon, not caring for the consequences of someone overhearing. That or she knew I put a barrier up, most likely the latter. No matter how many times I did this, the slickness, the wetness that always welcomed me was almost unbearable, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I immediately started thrusting into her with abandon. Her folds eagerly started milking me. Desperate for my next release, Arcuaid pulled me closer to her, until I could feel her nipples scrape against my pectorals. I felt one of her hands that were gripping my back shift slightly upwards as she pulled me in for a kiss. She pulled back from the kiss and looked at me with teary eyes. "F faster. You feel so good in me." I smirked. I had the perfect position. Seeing as her legs weren't currently wrapped around me, I pulled back slightly, much to Arcuaid's sadness, and reached down to lift her long legs up, folding Arcuaid over until her knees were at the side of her swaying breasts, her slick needy holes presented for my use. A mating press. Her blood-red eyes widened slightly. "Oh. This position. It seems Arcuaid knows the purpose of this position. Hey, well, I'll let her have that little fantasy, no matter how impossible it is for the current me." Arcuaid locked her legs, tight behind me, as if wanting me to never leave her inner depths. I started to thrust into her with renewed vigor, each of my strokes striking the deepest ends of her pretty pink pussy as she moaned, sending her juices splattering all over. "Please. Don't ever stop." Her words only served to motivate me further. I could feel myself growing closer and closer to the edge. Again. Inside me again. Heeding her words, I erupted inside of her, the delicious squeeze of her inner walls, her swaying breasts, her begging pleas. It was all too much for me to stop myself unless I forcefully did so. Yes. She yowled as she came explosively on my cock, shooting her juices straight at my pelvis. Eventually, once my release was finished and Arcuade's legs released me, I pulled back completely. The sheets were completely ruined, stains of our lovemaking all over. I rested my cock on her midsection as Arcuade said, "Shall we continue, my lord?" Hey, I knew I would have fun tonight. Chapter 73, Part 2. It's been a few days since I've been back, so I'll be paying a visit to Guy in a few days, I said to everyone. We were all gathered in the conference room currently. It's probably best not to keep him waiting for too long. I don't want him coming over here if possible. Who knows what shenanigans he'll get up to. I see, you will need a bodyguard in order to show his subordinates their place then, Felix Sama. I nominate myself. Oh? But Miss First Secretary, don't you have other duties to take care of? It's best if I accompany our lord while you stay here. Voiced out Sukuna. Sigh, these two have been competing for who can stay with me. It's honestly kind of weird hearing those kinds of things from Sukuna, but I guess I can only blame myself for his personality. Before they could continue, I decided to intervene. No, no one will be accompanying me. I have no clue what is going to happen at the ice continent with Guy. It may result in a fight, and at this point you two will only hold me back. I will be constantly splitting my focus in order to make sure you guys are all okay, and in a fight that can be deadly. You may be able to handle Guy's subordinates, but in the crossfire between Guy and I, you two will be demolished. It may have been cruel, but they needed to know the truth. I didn't want them disobeying orders and coming with me anyway, not that there was a very high chance of that, probably a less than 1% chance, and even then they would only disobey my direct orders if they felt they had to. It pains me to agree, but our lord is correct. We would only hold him back if there were a confrontation with Rouge. Arcuade said. That Rouge was always a monster. Not even Vert and Blue together could take him down. It's best not to hold our master back. Even Lalitina was being supportive. I'll have to reward her later. Hey, as much as I'd love to fight with Vert and Blue, I'd rather we not burden our master, so stop being so clingy, Zuko. Zuko pouted at Megaman's words but seemed to be convinced. I looked down in my lap to see what Kurami had to say, but she just licked my hand. I wasn't surprised. She has always been obedient. I will follow your orders, master. I already knew Raiden would listen. Please come back safe, Felix Sama. I looked to the one who usually kept quiet. Don't worry about me, Ingvild. I'm strong, so I'll be alright. She nodded, though I could still see some worry in her eyes. If you say so, then. How about this? When I get back, why don't we play some music together? I may not look it, but I do have some experience with music. Ingvild looked surprised, though everyone else seemed to not particularly care. Indeed, it is only expected of our lord to be skilled at a multitude of things. Arcuade said, with Megaman and Lalitina nodding along with her. Felix Sama and I have played music together on occasion. He is truly superb. Bragged Zuko. Of course she would try and brag about something like that. I see then. I would love to play with you, Felix Sama. I smirked. It's a date then. All of a sudden a blush formed on Ingvild's face. Wah. I would low before she could finish what she was saying. I interrupted. Haha, don't worry, I'm just teasing you, Ingvild. I see. Is it me, or does she look a bit downcast all of a sudden? Weird. I don't think we have interacted enough for her to be sad about something like that. Let me look at things from her perspective. She was summoned here right after she fell into a coma. She's in a brand new world with no allies. She was immediately enslaved and forced to carry out orders she did not agree with, and then on top of that she has no idea about the fate of her loved ones back in her original world. Eventually she gained a friend in Glenda, but that is still only one person. Then all of a sudden she is ordered to attack a demon lord. Someone said to be an enemy of humanity, someone so evil that they earned the title of demon lord. But to her surprise, it's a friendly demon lord who frees her and her friend from enslavement, and then offers her a place to live along with the possibility of going back to her original world. Alright, I can see how a crush might form from that. I doubt Ingvild has much experience with romance, so she doesn't really know how to navigate these waters. She's basically just walking blind. Hell, her inexperience is likely one of the reasons she fell for a guy like me, even though I don't interact with her much. Well, I can fix that at the very least. I don't feel comfortable starting a relationship with her just yet. It feels like I'm taking advantage of a clueless kid, but maybe after we get to know Ecother better and she learns of my true nature, then maybe something like that can happen. Be ready for our date, Ingvild, okay? The blush is back. Good. A frown doesn't suit her face. Yes. It seems Megaman is a bit jealous. I'll have to make some time for her soon. Maybe we can go to a dead world and mess around a bit? Alright, That's all I wanted to talk about. You all can go back to what you were doing. Arcuaid was the first to leave as she was in the middle of applying the ideas I gave her for increasing military recruitment. My relationship with Arcuaid hasn't changed much since we slept together. She is still loyal and devoted, if not more so. The only thing that has changed is that she is much more open about giving me her affection, along with much more open about her desires. A win-win in my book. Lalitina and Megaman soon followed along with Ingvild, leaving me with Siko, Raiden, Kurami, and Sukuna. Did you two like the upgrades I made to your weapons? I haven't got the chance to actually see Siko and Sukuna use their new legend-grade weapons, but they were both quite happy when I gave them their new weapons. Yes, Felix-sama. It is far stronger than it was previously, and I can channel my power through it more easily as well. And then I can even directly attack one spirit. Hey, good, I'm glad you like it. Did you change the name? Yes, it is now True Hercules Edge. Real creative, but it fits Siko. I see. And what about you, Sukuna? It is far superior to the weapons I previously wielded during the Han era. In fact, if I had such a weapon, I would have been able to single-handedly rule the entire world. Proclaimed Sukuna. That's a scary thought, but not unfounded. Legend-grade equipment is just that busted. I see. I'm happy you are satisfied with it then. A thought communication from Adelman. That's rare. I've been mostly leaving him to his own devices. I can sense him and his undead army hanging around in the marshlands, acting as the first line of defense. I wonder what happened? My lord. Hey, what's up, Adelman? Did something happen? I couldn't sense anything unusual, though it seems his undead army has grown in strength. He has a death dragon and a powerful death knight from what I'm sensing. Ah, nothing bad, my lord. I simply wanted to introduce you to one of my subordinates who may prove useful to you, so you have a better idea of our overall strength level. Ah, that's a good idea. Maybe I can name some of his undead too? Give his army a nice little power boost. I see, I'll be there soon then. Yes, my lord. We will be eagerly awaiting your arrival. And with that, the thought communication was cut off. Alright girls, I gotta go meet Adelman or something. You guys don't need to come, seeing as I'm just meeting some of his subordinates. Seeing as they all nodded, I teleported to the marshlands. Ah, my lord. To be in your presence once again is truly an honor. I looked to where the voice came from and was met with a kneeling Adelman, along with two of his subordinates who were also kneeling. One was the Death Dragon, and then a Death Knight. You and your subordinates don't need to kneel, Adelman. He nodded and got up. Yes, my lord. His subordinates also stopped kneeling. Adelman hasn't been slacking. He's about as strong as an unarmed Arcuaid. That's a level of power that can cause a significant amount of damage. The Lakeshore Dyed Scarlet incident can attest to that. According to Arcuaid, long ago she had formed a pact with a certain royal family. She would safeguard the country that those royals ruled over, and in return, once a suitable vessel was born to that family, she would possess them. Arcuaid, Lalitina, and Megaman were playing their games even back then. One day Arcuaid finally found an ideal vessel, so she approached the princess and said she would grant the princess's wish in return for her body. But astonishingly, all that princess wanted was a friend, and so that princess became Arcuaid's first friend. After all, Lalitina and Megaman could be considered more her rivals rather than her friends. Arcuaid took the role of a guide and mentor for the princess. Their relationship grew over several years. Unfortunately, good things don't always last. The Eastern Empire invaded that princess's country since her nation was only a vassal to the empire, and their king chose to rebel. Safe to say that kingdom stood no chance. Arcuaid wasn't able to properly control the princess's body, so the princess forcefully terminated their contract, allowing Arcuaid to take full control of her body, and for the first time Arcuaid knew grief. Arcuaid released a spell that killed everyone, no matter if they were guilty or innocent. She used Death Streak, a magic that destroyed the very souls of whomever they came into contact with. After getting her revenge, Arcuaid faked her death. In honor of her friend, Arcuaid cut ties with the material world with that body and placed a seal on that body so it would remain untouched. That body is still located under the land of that kingdom. The reason it was called the Lakeshore Dyed Scarlet incident was due to one thing. There was a formerly beautiful lake that was dyed scarlet, filled with the blood of the inhabitants of that kingdom. Chapter 74, Part 3. The history of this world is really something great. Well, I better not keep them waiting. I turned towards the Death Knight. So you must be this subordinate that Adelman mentioned, huh? He nodded. Indeed, Lord Felix, it is an honor to meet you. He said with a bow. He is fairly strong. I would place him around Glenda's level, if not a little bit higher. It seems he was human once upon a time. Did you used to be a human? Indeed, I used to serve with Adelman together as part of the Holy Church. When we fell, I was resurrected as an undead under him. It was only recently that I was able to form a physical body using the vast amount of magicules littering the air. So he used the magicules that we've all been leaking, huh? Smart. I turned towards the death dragon, who was quite strong on its own. It could rival a normal archdragon after all. Clayman was seriously wasting such good resources. Adelman has been working basically non-stop. I'm sure Clayman didn't really reward him, so maybe I should give him a little something? Any ideas, Odin? It is possible to create and transfer a skill to the White King known as Adelman. By using the data from unique skill, Reverser, along with data gathered on Luminous Valentine, the extra skill, Holy Demonic Reversal, was created. Holy shit, these overachieving skills, I just asked for an idea and you went above and beyond. As expected, Odin is the best. Apostrophe. Ah, you don't need to be shy, I know you're happy at my praise, Odin. Apostrophe. Nothing to say? What a tier skill I have. The extra skill, Holy Demonic Reversal, is quite good. It will allow Adelman to swap between the alignments of Holy and Demonic, basically giving him the benefits of both and demerits of neither, as they can cover the weaknesses of each other. It all depends on how well he uses this skill. Adelman can even use this skill on his undead army. Alright, use Beelzebub to transfer the skill to him. Affirmative. My lord. To think your abilities stretch this far. Truly thank you. I will use this new skill you have bestowed upon me to protect the land you call home. Alright, thank you, Adelman. Think of that skill as a little reward. Feel free to take a few days off if you want. I can have someone else cover your duties. It is my duty to serve as your shield, my lord. I would never slack on my duties. Alright, suit yourself then. I turned to look at Adelman's two strongest subordinates. Hey, what was your name when you were human? The Death Knight looked confused but answered nonetheless. It was Albert, my lord. I see, I name you Albert. I felt a minuscule amount of my magicules be drained. It didn't take long for the naming to be complete. In front of me stood a far more powerful undead. A death paladin, someone on par with a stronger archdemon. Thank you, my lord. You're welcome. Make sure to cover Adelman's back. I would have done so no matter what. But I will make sure no harm comes to this land. I gave him a nod and turned to the death dragon. Now what should I name it? How about Hades? Nah, how about Hel? Yes, Hel sounds good. The daughter of Loki in Norse mythology. I name you Hel. Notice. The death dragon known as Hel is evolving into a subspecies known as Gehenna dragon. A Gehenna dragon is a subspecies of a dragon lord. Damn, a full-on dragon lord, huh? Just like Raiden, though Raiden possessed far more magicules and is also just far stronger in general. But that didn't mean she was weak. She was stronger than even Adelman was now, at least in pure magicule capacity. Leaned her head back and roared with all her might. Once she was finished, I approached her. I'm glad you like your name, I said as I began stroking her scales. What I didn't expect was for her to get smaller and assume a human form, though. She had white hair, red eyes along with two dragon horns protruding from her head. Man, she would do good in the dragon corps, but oh well. She bowed. Thank you for gracing me with an identity, my lord. It's no problem. Just make sure to do your duty well. I will fulfill your orders. I gave her a pleased nod. Now that that's done, I'm going to head back. Make sure the three of you master your new abilities. Yes. Good. I nodded. With some training they would go far. Now what should I do? I haven't given everyone their presents yet, so I guess I can do that. I still need to give Lalatina and Megaman their presents. I gave Raiden hers when she came to clean up Arcuade's room the next morning after our little romp. I gave Kurumi hers when I found her training alone 2 days ago, and I gave Arcuade hers the day after we first slept together. I gave Ingvild and Glenda their presents when I came across them on one of their off days. Glenda was very happy with her present, while Ingvild was also happy but far more reserved with showing it. I expanded my senses to figure out where Megaman is. It's probably best to give Megaman hers first, since I'm pretty sure Lalatina will be horny after I give her the collar. I teleported to one of the sealed-off training grounds where I sensed Megaman along with Adra. I hid my presence and watched from the side as the two sparred with their swords. Adra was clearly superior to Megaman when it came to technique, but Megaman was able to bridge the gap by utilizing her strength. I'm sure Megaman could wipe the floor with Adra if they went all out, but it seems Megaman is trying to improve with the sword. Not unwise, seeing as there are some bullshit sword techniques out there. I continued to observe while copying Adra's techniques. He was the one who taught the old man after all. I'm sure his swordsmanship is leagues ahead of the old man's and probably mine. Their fight lasted for a few hours, during which I made sure to analyze and copy all their movements, though I did get bored in the middle, so I began reading some manga that Veldor recommended to me. Who knew the anime from Rimuru and I's worlds would be different? How fun. Of course I still had Odin monitor their fight and copy everything. I'm a cheater like that. They both immediately noticed me once I stopped concealing my presence. My lord. What's up, you two? Now that you are done, let me borrow Megaman for a bit. Megaman turned to look at Adra, who seemed to understand some hidden message she sent him. How weird, she didn't send a thought communication. Notice. The demon Megaman just glared at the demon Adra. Ah, so he is just scared of his boss, understandable. What did you need from me, my lord? Megaman asked eagerly. I got you a present from the world I visited. I took out the gun case the minigun was in. It was almost like her eyes started to shine. Really? I sighed fondly. Yes, really. The moment I opened the case, Megaman was all over it. Is this a gun like Glenda's? Yes, it's a bit of a different type though. Hey, how about I show you what this baby can do? Yes. Man, she's just like a child when it comes to anything related to combat. Odin, do you have the coordinates for that dead world ready? Answer. Yes. Nice. Let me let everyone know I might be out for a while since I don't want to speed the time of the other world up. Though what will the time ratio be, Odin? Answer. It will be a 1-to-1 ratio. The world that was detected was found to be in a universe that the so-called Angels of Origin had attacked, likely on their creator's orders. Huh, well that's something. Raiden, I'll be out for a little bit, I'm taking Megaman with me, it should be a day max. Yes, master, I will let everyone know. Great, thanks. Grab my shoulder, Megaman. Once I felt her grip, I gave her a smirk. Time to blow out the world, I guess. I was under no false impression that Megaman wouldn't go all out since there were really no consequences to her actions on this world. Ouroboros. Well, I can control her if I have to, but I kinda wanna join her in destroying a world, might as well live out my power fantasy, right? Chapter 75, Explosions. Ouroboros. I felt my surroundings shift as I was transported into a different space-time, or rather a different dimension. I've gotten better at feeling these sorts of shifts in reality. Hopefully at some point I'll be capable of doing all of this without Odin's assistance. I looked around the area we landed in. It seems we are in a wasteland of some sort. The magicule concentration is incredibly high, far too intense to be naturally occurring magicules. To the point normal humans wouldn't be capable of surviving here. This planet really got fucked up by those angels, huh? I wonder what they did to get Veldonova to sick them on this world. Whoa. So this is a different world, huh? It seems there was some kind of battle here a while ago. I can still feel the remnant magicules in that air. It sorta feels like that of those annoying angels. Megaman said. Hey, you're right about that. This is a universe that was apparently purged by the 7 Angels of Origin a long time ago. They sound like they are quite strong, so it makes sense that their magicules can still be felt to this day. Those guys are strong. I remember hearing that all of them have a power equal to that of an ultimate skill which was given to them by their creator. I didn't know that. I remember that Dino had an ultimate skill, but now you're telling me that he also has some other ability on that level? Not to mention his divinity, and I'm sure he has a god-grade weapon. Man, Veldonova was really treating his subordinates well. Then their commander Feldway is a whole other beast altogether. I remember Noir once saying that Veldonova gifted him with a body on par with that of a true dragon's. Excuse me? Can Veldonova be my sugar daddy too? But I'm sure he's no match for you, Lord Felix. Megaman boasted. I appreciate the hype, but I'm not too sure about that. Something about these angels gives me a bad feeling. And as a devil lord and true Daemon lord, my intuition is rarely wrong. But who knows, maybe since I'm a demon I just have an inherent dislike for angels. It wouldn't be out of the ordinary at the very least. Alright, enough of that. How about we have some fun? We can cause as much damage to this world as we want. Maybe I'll test out the limits of some of my magics. That could be fun. But first, why don't we test out your gun of mass destruction first? After that we can cause needless destruction. Theoretically each magicule bullet should have enough power to blow up a mountain. Hee, yes. Well, at least Megaman is excited. I pointed to a mountain in the distance. Why don't you shoot it at that? Though don't hold the trigger down, just tap it. She nodded as she positioned the gun properly in her hand. Once it was aimed, she held the and pressed the trigger. The mechanism quickly sped up and a ton of bullets were fired before Megaman let go. Boom! Both Megaman and I looked wide-eyed at the scene of destruction. I guess I should have expected it, but still. The entire area where the mountain was located was a multiple city-sized crater. Well then. I guess that's what happens when you fire multiple mountain-busting bullets. Ha ha ha. Awesome. Can I do more, Lord Felix? Why not? It isn't like anyone calls this world home. Sure, go crazy, though leave some of the planet for me to have fun on. Yes. I decided to fly to the other side of the planet. That should be a good enough distance away that I can experiment without bugging Megaman. It took me less than a tenth of a second to get to the other side of the planet. I ignored the wave of destruction I caused on the way. Once I descended back to the ground, I could feel the planet itself shake. Just what the fuck is Megaman doing? Oh well, now what should I test? I don't want to try any of my higher tier nuclear magic spells, as those would likely crack the planet in half if not more. I know. I increased the gravity in front of me to a level where nothing could escape, whether it be light, or even magicules. I was mimicking the phenomena of gravitational collapse. I was creating a singularity. And this was no ordinary singularity, this was one I was planning to let loose to see how much it could grow. Its sheer presence was bending space-time. It should be capable of bending any sort of emission attack away. Gravity manipulation is bullshit. The singularity was still under my control. I pushed my hand out and launched it straight ahead as I said, "Black hole." The black hole instantly began consuming everything around it. I watched as it consumed entire mountain ranges, remnant cities, likely from whatever society existed on this world. It didn't take very long for the black hole to consume the entire continent I was on, and it was barely growing larger due to its nature as a black hole. Ouroboros. If Earth was condensed into a black hole, how big would it be? Answer: it would be under an inch across. No wonder I didn't see it growing even with a continent's worth of mass. Once I focused my senses on it, I could tell it was slowly growing a minuscule amount. Well, it's about time to wrap this experiment up. I appeared right next to the black hole. I bent the laws of reality so that it wouldn't affect me and then raised my hand in its direction. Beelzebub. A swirl of dark energy appeared and consumed the black hole, leaving this planet down one continent. Normally it would just consume the planet indiscriminately, but thanks to my control I was able to limit the extent of its damage. The effects of a continent vanishing off the face of the planet were apparent. I could feel earthquakes all throughout the planet due to tectonic plate movement, or that could be Mega Man blowing shit up. The sea level was changing, the climate patterns were shifting as continents play a large role in shaping climate. But I decided to ignore all that. It doesn't really matter much after all. As I was flying to a different continent, I contemplated what else I should test. Hey, maybe I can pull a Madara? Yes, I'll do that. Once I was above another landmass, I expanded my senses far enough to sense the asteroids that were near this planet. I found several suitable asteroids and then raised my hand up to the sky. I used my mastery over gravity to force a few of the asteroids together, creating a far larger asteroid. Once that was done, I began to pull it towards the planet. It wasn't large enough or fast enough to shatter the planet, but it would cause some serious damage. The asteroid was about double the size of a mountain. This asteroid is about 10 kilometers wider than the meteor that was said to have wiped out the dinosaurs. I lowered my hand and then looked upwards. I could already begin to see it coming down, and it was coming down incredibly fast. I activated thought acceleration and began to observe the meteor. I could feel the air around me beginning to heat up as the meteor got closer. Seeing as this meteor is bound to have a ton of kinetic energy and momentum, it shouldn't slow down much on its way down. Maybe I should warn Megaman? Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Hey Megaman, I'm about to do something that is going to cause a ton of damage, so be careful over there. Ooh. Can I come and see? Yeah, sure. It only took a couple of real-time seconds for Megaman to appear right next to me. I could tell she had activated thought acceleration as she sent me a thought communication. So what are you going to do? I smirked and pointed up. Why don't you look? Once she saw what I was doing, her mouth fell open. Whoa. I grabbed her hand and then flew us far higher up so we could get a good view of the effects of this meteor. We both lowered our thought acceleration and just watched with eager looks on our face. A few seconds later the world shook. Boom! The moment the meteor hit the ground there was a massive shockwave. I could tell there was a large amount of debris in the air around us. There were earthquakes all throughout the world, far worse than when I made the black hole. Holy shit. The temperature was scorching at this point. A normal human would have been incinerated long ago. Thermal fluctuation nullification dealt with it easily though. I expanded my senses all throughout the world to get a detailed analysis of what is happening. There were earthquakes as predicted, volcanic eruptions, tsunamis, dust clouds. The land was in even more disarray than previously. The dust clouds were blocking out the light from the sun. The climate was changing. The crater that the meteor formed was over 150 kilometers wide. This is a mass extinction level event if I've ever seen one. Well, only if there is a species to extinguish. Notice. The amount of energy that was released from the meteor was over 15,000 times greater than that of the largest nuclear bombs ever detonated on Earth, the Tsar Bomba. The Tsar Bomba had more than 3,000 times the force of the atomic bomb and was capable of causing damage hundreds of kilometers away from its explosion point. Well shit. Awesome. Megaman squealed, Gaha, that was the biggest explosion I've ever seen. Yeah, it's the biggest I've ever seen too. If I ever do that again it's going to be with a much smaller meteor. That was definitely overkill, still badass though. I can officially say I've outdone Madara. This kinda ruined this entire trip though. It's going to be annoying to test all of our explosions out on a world like this. The dust is going to be annoying, same with the constant shaking and tsunamis. Maybe we can go to another dead world? Any other dead worlds you have, Odin? Answer. Yes. Alright, great. Let's go to another world, Megaman. This one isn't suitable to play around in anymore. Alright. I never let go of Megaman's hand throughout this. Now that I look, Megaman is even blushing. Could this be considered a date? I mean, we are both doing something we enjoy and are having fun, so I would classify this as a date. Let's resume our date, Megaman. Date? Yup. I didn't give her a chance to respond as I transported us to another world. This one looked rather similar to the last, which makes sense seeing as what makes these worlds dead is that there is no true life on them. Who knows how such a situation occurs, but that's the requirement I gave Odin for classifying worlds as dead. Of course it is theoretically possible for life to be born on these worlds in the future, but I don't really care about that. Chapter 76, Part 2. I looked at the destroyed remains of the second planet Megaman and I had our fun on. The world was cracked into multiple pieces. You could feel the intense amount of magicules all around us. I smirked and turned to Megaman. Gaha, that was fun, huh? Hee, yup. I don't get many chances to let loose like this. If I did anything like this on the Cardinal world, it would become troublesome real quick. Rouge would probably also come beat me within an inch of my life. I nodded empathetically. I would definitely do so for trying something like this. Besides, some of the other demon lords are more than a match for the current Megaman. It's safe to say there are many obstacles to causing wanton mass destruction like this. I ended up messing around with Megaman for about 28 hours. Sadly, I didn't get to explore much of the first world. I was kinda curious about one of the worlds purged by Veldenova's angels, but I should have thought about that before bringing a massive meteor down. Anyways, Megaman and I tested out her new minigun in detail since I didn't want to go too far and have to take us to another world again. A minigun fires about 38 bullets per second. That's 2,284 bullets per minute. That's 2,284 mountain-destroying explosions per minute. That's a ton of damage. It's safe to say that the second planet we went to no longer exists, but Megaman had a good time, so it's fine. I also enjoyed causing a needless amount of mass destruction. Man, I wish I had a chance to let loose a bit. I haven't had a fight with anyone that I could call my equal since the last time I fought Milim. And even then we mostly just mess around rather than going all out. Am I a battle maniac? I think I just enjoy fights where I can go all out and grow. I guess I am a bit of a battle maniac. Maybe I can ask Veldora for a spar sometime. According to Odin, I should be capable of beating him fairly easily, but it could still be fun. Alright, let's head back. Sure, but can we do this again sometime, Master? Megaman asked with a slight blush. Gaha, sure. In fact, we can make it our second date. A date where we destroy a planet. A D-date? Yes. In your face blank. I gave her a fond smile. I'll take that as a yes then? Hey, her blush deepened. Cute. These primordials are weak to seduction from someone they acknowledge. I guess not having much romantic experience despite being Ian's old does that to someone. I wouldn't be surprised if they got laid in the past. They are Ian's old after all, though maybe not. They didn't have a physical body until recently and they had full control of their desires, but who knows, I'm not insecure enough to worry about their past sex partners. But still, I'm confident they don't have much experience with romance. They wouldn't be nearly as easy as they are if they did. Even Arcuaid is quite weak to genuine compliments from me, and she seems the most mature of them. I just don't see it. They primarily lived in the demon realm before I summoned them, and they wouldn't acknowledge any other weaker demon as their partner. They were far too proud for that. Yes. It's a date then. Good, now grab my shoulder. Once I felt her grip on my shoulder, I activated my skill. Ouroboros. And we appeared right back where we left, though as I planned time did pass. Alright Megaman, I am going to try and upgrade your vessel a bit so that it can be on par with Arcuaid's Deathman body, since I don't know when I'll get a chance to create 2 new Deathman bodies. I've already begun the process of upgrading Arcuaid's Deathman body with Stardust, and I don't want Megaman and Lalatina to fall behind her. There's no need, Master. My body along with Lalatina is already in the process of evolving. It is? Yup. She looked smug to have got one over me, brat. Odin, what is it evolving into? Answer. It has been detected that the Orachakaukan body is evolving into the legendary metal spoken of in only myths, High Hurricane, also known as the Divine Steel. Anything made out of it will be at the top of legend grade if not god grade. This metal also possesses a will of its own that is completely loyal to its master. It is capable of healing its body by using magicules, and it is capable of blocking any sort of appraisal including Odin's. What the fuck? Well then I guess that's taken care of. Can you help the evolution along with Stardust, Odin? It is possible, but it is recommended to let the metal naturally evolve, as due to insufficient analysis it is unknown what effects stardust may have on the evolution. I see, so it may speed the evolution along, but it may also prevent the evolution entirely, since we don't know how this evolution works. Correct. Well, I guess I don't need to upgrade their bodies then, just Arcuaid. These high hurricane bodies will likely surpass Arcuaid's body. Hey, now she is the one who will need to catch up. Well, that's good then, I guess I don't need to upgrade your bodies. Yup. Soon enough Arcuaid will be eating my dust. Hey, maybe if you work hard enough. Anyways, I'm off to see Lalatina now. By the way, we were gone for 28 hours in case you wanted to know. Got it. I sensed Lalatina in her room, so I teleported in front of Lalatina's room and opened the door. Lalatina said in the past that there was no need to knock since she is my slave or something, it wouldn't be proper. Fucking demons. As I entered Lalatina's room, I contemplated if this interaction would inevitably go the way I expect it to. Sex. I'm not complaining though, sex is sex, especially with Lalatina, the kinky little demon that she is. Chapter 77, Part 3. Master. Did you came to relieve yourself with my body? I sighed. No, Lalatina, though I am open to it. I came to give you the gift I got for you from that other world. Lalatina looked ecstatic. A gift? For me? This slave is unworthy. Yes, just take it. I handed her a box with my present for her. Honestly, I'm still wondering why I ended up getting her a collar. I know she will like it, but has her corruption spread this far? I could tell she figured out what exactly I gave her, since the moment she opened the box a massive blush appeared on her face.